I've ordered one of the pieces myself. You can now see a really ugly picture of me modelling it as best I possibly can.
Hello. Yes, people, let me know that you can hear me okay. If you're new here, my name is Fran and I'm an Arsenal fan and football artist based in Hampshire in the UK. And today I thought it was about time that we had a good look about how the Arsenal squad has performed this season. And there will be no holds barred. I'm going to be completely honest with my opinions. And we're going to go through all of the players in the Arsenal squad and rate their performances, kind of compare how we think they're doing compared to expectations. And it should just be a really fun way to get into how the team is doing this season. As you guys know, my favorite part of every post-match review is doing player ratings. So this is just like a giant player ratings for what we've seen in the first half of the season so far. And I'm really excited. At the moment, as a streamer, it's easy to kind of want to do like transfer rumors and things like that, but I'm just so fed up of all these rumors and nothing really coming of it, and I'm just so bored really. So I thought we could look at what's actually concrete and just talk about how the players have done this season. It's going to be a relaxed Friday stream and I've been really looking forward to it. So thank you very much for joining me, whether you're here live or you're watching on replay. Please do hit the likes, and if you are a fan of some of the artwork behind me, then do visit my website, goalartzo.com, to check out some of my art and merch and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a day before Arsenal face Crystal Palace. We're just coming back from the winter break. And I've already done my Arsenal versus Crystal Palace preview about a day ago. So if you missed that, then do go and check it out. We went into the stats and how we might line up, how they might line up, key injuries, things like that. I'm feeling pretty hopeful for tomorrow, but let's just kind of get away from that for a while and look at what's happened so far this season to kind of hopefully see how the team will look going forwards. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this stream. So do hit the likes and let's get into it. Why waste any more time? So let's here we are. So mid-season player reviews. We've played, I think, 20. Actually, I should probably check how many games we've played. But we've definitely played about half of our games this season. And yeah, we're going to talk about how the players have done. But yeah, a bit about me. I'm a football artist and just hugely into football. I've always been into sports, especially gymnastics, hockey, swimming, what else? Netball, things like that. And recently, in the last 5 to 6 years or so, got really into my football. But I think because of my background in all sorts of team sports, hopefully I can bring a slightly like different perspective, kind of based on tactics compared to other, I don't know. Either way, I just love my sports. I love my football, love talking about football. And as I always say, I have questionable but enthusiastic takes on the game. And if you don't agree with any of my opinions, then I just say, well, it's not what I really do. I'm actually an artist. So ignore my football opinion and just have a look at my art. It's the perfect fallback. But anyway, I'm waffling. I am waffling. Mr. B, hello. Saying big up, Fran. Your team were in Dubai before they went to Dubai. Before they went to Dubai already on their holes. Yeah, they love Dubai. As I was saying yesterday, that Dubai trip was a complete madness. I just hope it's done the job because Kiwior's wife was twerking on the beach. Arteta was getting fed steak by Salt Bay. What else happened? They're all on yachts. Eddie and Nketiah coming into training with an what was it? Louis Vuitton handbag. It was a lot. It was a lot. So I just really hope it's done the trick or it's all going to come back to bite them. But yeah, obviously we're live at a different time today. Normally I have to I prefer to go live later on in the day. But today I wasn't working. I've got a movie night later. So this was the time I thought would be best to go live. So if you're watching on catch up, I'm sorry I couldn't go live at the usual time, but I hope you've had a good Friday and you're looking forward to the game tomorrow. I certainly am. So anyway, mid-season player reviews. Let's get straight into it. I always say that after I've spoken for like 8 minutes or so, but anyway, so I'm going to go through our team, the official team registered on Arsenal.com, with all of our first team players, and we're going to choose between the top grade, which is above. There are 3 categories, okay, and we're going to put the characters, the players into them. The first one is Borat, very nice. Above average, they're exceeding my expectations, and I will say why. So yeah, if you're a player watching this, I'm sure you all are, then you want to be in the very nice category. That's the top category that you can have. And then there will be a bunch of players in the meh, okay, perhaps they're injured or they're playing kind of not playing okay, but not really exceeding expectations. Mr. Beehive of football getting carried away saying, Borat sexy time. No, not that, just very nice. Thank you for joining me today, Mr. V. We have Sergio Spuds reject. You made a signing. Did you, Brentford? I haven't caught up to date with that, but a Spuds reject doesn't sound great. So the middle category will be meh, okay, average. You can see Jose Mourinho shrugging there. And then the third category will be Michael Scott from The Office. Going like, no, God, no. And that's underwhelming. And we'll go into why that player has not impressed this season so far. Having said that, it's midway through the season. If any players do fit into the average or underwhelming category, they should use it as motivation to want to prove me wrong in the second half of the season. So yeah, you've got Sergio Reguilon. Interesting. I'm not sure that will totally transform your season, but good luck with that. Hey Phil, what's up? Long time no see. I hope all is good with you too. Yeah, I'm excited for today's stream and really nervous but excited for the game tomorrow. So I thought this would be a bit of fun just to take stock of where everyone is and how we're all feeling about the players. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to start with our goalkeepers. And yeah, there's a lot to say. I mean, every single player, it seems this season, there's like some sort of controversy with or something, or at least maybe we're just starting on a strong point. But first of all, let's review Aaron Ramsdale. So my expectations for Ramsdale going into the season, honestly, I did not think there would be any change in the goalkeeping situation whatsoever. I know that towards the end of last season, it did feel like Ramsdale was at fault for a couple of like stinkers, and that only kind of contributed to the collapse that we saw in the last few games of last season. It did feel like, I do remember like some clangers from Ramsdale, but in no moment in my head was I thinking that in order to improve this team and go again next season, we need to get a new goalkeeper. That just wasn't there at all. And my expectations were that Ramsdale would stay in goal. In fact, if you were watching me last season, you'll know that Ramsdale was one of the key factors, in my head at least, for like the unity within like the team and what he brought in terms of like squad harmony and the attitude of the defense, bringing everyone together, hyping up the crowd, hyping up the team. I thought that was one of the really strong things that he brought last season. So I was very, very shocked and confused at first when the signing of Raya came in. And I assumed that Raya would be second choice because it just hadn't even crossed my mind that Ramsdale would be being replaced. And it seemed like we were spun a bit of a yarn now looking back. Arteta just trying to soften the blow because he knew that fans would be upset. So he pulled all that stuff about like, oh, it's a contest between two keepers and the best keeper will play on the day. But no, it's so unfair for Ramsdale, I think. But the situation from my point of view is that he always has had his eye on David Raya, and Ramsdale was the next best thing he could get in his mind when he got the job and could sign a keeper. And once Raya became available, it's like, oh, that's the man I always wanted. So sorry, see you later, Ramsdale. And it's so unfair. As Phil says, oh, Rami, I hate Arteta for this. I know it's so unfair. So it's going to be quite hard to rate Ramsdale this season, but we're definitely going to be rating Raya and seeing whether it's been worth ousting Ramsdale from the squad or not. Hey, what's up? I just seen Strasbourg Steve. Long time no see. How's Nook? I hope you're doing good too, Steve. I see you around all the place, getting on all the different channels. I hope you're enjoying your football this season. I'm loving it. Mr. B saying Ram could leave though. We're not hearing any links about him leaving in January. He could leave in summer. I mean, if I was him, I'd want to leave in January because he wants to get a spot in the England squad. And Southgate even said, explicitly, that if Ramsdale doesn't get minutes, then it's going to be difficult for him to choose him for the squad, which isn't what he said about Harry Maguire, but Southgate standards are just something else. Still asking Mr. Beehive, are you excited about the return of your main man? Of course, Mr. B supports Brentford, and Ivan Toney was back yesterday with a GIF that he posted on Twitter saying free. It was really funny. Hey, Anthony Herbert, I hope you're well too. Here at a slightly earlier time today, Friday afternoon show. It's all relaxed vibes. I'm enjoying this stream. I hope you're well too, my friend. Strasbourg Steve saying Ramsdale's better than Raya for me, and I trust you, Steve. Steve is his football knowledge is top notch. You might want to get an upgrade on both of them. Facts. If I were Arsenal, I wouldn't buy Raya as of now. I've been hearing rumours though, Steve, that the Raya thing was like a pre-agreed sale. It's all just such a confusing mess, and I just don't know why any of it was necessary. So in terms of rating Ramsdale, when he did play for us in that last match against Liverpool, I was really, really impressed. However, when he has got very rare minutes this season, he hasn't looked his most confident. He's looked a bit shaky, but is there any wonder, really? I hate to think about how he would have been if things had just carried on as per the status quo. Raya hadn't been. I understand if Raya had been brought in terms to push Ramsdale, but it seems like it isn't a fair fight. If they were, it would be fantastic. I can see how this would work if it was Raya and Ramsdale alternating depending on who trained best that week. I think that could be really healthy, but the way it's been handled kind of makes me, feel for Aaron Ramsdale and also feel for Raya, who's been put into this situation where he seems to be out of nowhere pushing one of the absolute fan favourites out of his position. It's not Raya's fault either. I just think it's kind of poorly managed, and Arteta tried to kind of soften the blow, and it's just been a bit of a mess. But Ramsdale, he's not hugely impressed when he has had a chance between the posts, except for that last match against Liverpool. But then I don't really blame him because it's just been such a confusing situation all round. Connor's in the chat. Hello. Also, Phil saying, Big Tony, Return of the Mac. You know what it does, what it is, what it is, what it isn't. No. Ramsdale 6 out of 10, limited minutes though. Yeah. Steve, you missed it. Actually, we could do number ratings as well, but the ratings are either above average, average, or below average, and they're based on dumb internet memes. So looking at it, he has been rated the Jose Mourinho meh. Okay, that's the rating I've been given Ramsdale, because purely he hasn't had the minutes to impress us really, and I can't fully give him a proper rating because he's barely had the minutes. And to continue that conversation, we will get on to David Raya and see whether we think he's been better than Ramsdale. Let me know what you guys think. Just, it's nice at this halfway stage of the season and having had a few days away to have a bit of perspective and actually look at what's gone on, whether this stuff was a good idea, whether it's hurt the season, whether it hasn't affected the season, and just kind of speculate like that. I love it. Southgate will start Pickford regardless, says Strasbourg Steve. Yeah, probably. Angry Jordan Pickford. Big up Anthony, saying Mr. B. Tony will be in our hands soon. I hope so, Connor. I hope so badly. Did you watch his interview with Sky, Fran, about him saying he wants to move to a big club? Yeah, it was hilarious. It was that guy, the disrespect for Brentford is just outrageous. Yeah. Mr. B won't be happy. Phil saying 100% pre-agreed the Raya signing, but Arteta must be annoyed with himself in private. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's perhaps a situation that he'll learn from, and with a bit more experience, Arteta like perhaps wouldn't do that or would handle it in a slightly different way, because we're going to talk about Raya now, but I think the situation was probably so awkward for Raya to come into that it then also affected his performance, and he seemed so shaky and kind of unsure of himself at the beginning. He's kind of settled more into the role now, but I think Arteta would probably be looking back and going like, how could I have handled this differently so that both players weren't so like affected by all the noise and speculation and that kind of thing. So Raya having come in, it was surprising, and I didn't realise that was just going to be it, basically. I don't think any one of us realised it was like, okay, this is our number one keeper now, because the way Arteta handled it, he made it seem that it was going to be a contest. You know, the best player would play on the week, like the next coming week. And that wasn't the case at all. Like, and he had to sell it to us that way, because otherwise there would have been uproar because of how beloved Ramsdale is. But yeah, having said that, the speculation, maybe it would have been better if Arteta had just said, like, this is our number one choice now, and this is why. I think that's perhaps, like, in hindsight, he could have explained, Raya brings these qualities that Ramsdale doesn't in my eyes, and that's why he's my number one keeper now. Like, just deal with it. And then that might have, like, shut down the speculation, to be fair. Whereas instead, for weeks and weeks, this thing bubbled on, and if Raya made a mistake, you know, all the social media noise was calling for Ramsdale to get back between the sticks. And then when Ramsdale didn't get a game, then people would be even louder and there would be even more pressure on Raya. And I think what was even worse was that when Raya was playing in goal, there were chants from some Arsenal fans of Aaron Ramsdale's name. So is there any wonder why perhaps Raya's performances were so shaky? Having said that, though, if you're bringing in a goalkeeper which you perceive to be top class and much better than Aaron Ramsdale, things like that, easier said than done, such as fan discomfort and pressure, should not be affecting them that much. The main thing for a keeper is to be completely unaffected and have your head completely in the game. And I can say that as like, not like a massively high level goalkeeper, but like regional, kind of national, like level hockey high. So I was in goal, very intense, similar sort of style of game to football, and nothing like that is allowed to affect you between the posts. Like you shouldn't. I know it's so much easier said than done, but your only focus should be like where you're standing or where that ball is and keeping that ball out of the net. So I don't know if I know it's a difficult situation for Raya to come into, but I think Raya himself will be annoyed by how much perhaps like he was shaken up by it. Because I think it's pretty clear to most of us now that the step up from Ramsdale to Raya, at least so far, has not been anywhere near the cost of all of that unrest and trouble that the switch caused. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't seem worth it for all the trouble and speculation and unease amongst the squad and the fans and the change in atmosphere. It's hard to tell whether Raya coming in has been a huge step down in terms of like the defensive unity, because what I really loved about Ramsdale and still do is how much, as I was saying, like he brings to the attitude and togetherness of the defense and the fans and things like that. Do you think there's been a big step off between kind of that atmosphere and team spirit kind of things with Raya. I don't really see it, but I do perhaps see a slight lack of like harmony and connectivity in the defence, because Ramsdale really has such a large personality that he would lead that. And now it kind of seems a bit more like each man for themselves in defence rather than as a full defensive unit, if you know what I mean. But so there has been a drop off in that sense. Having said that, there are a few good things I've seen from Raya, but nowhere near the level up that I'd have expected to see from such a huge decision, if you know what I mean. He's much better at coming out and claiming the ball in like corners and things like that, free kicks. That was definitely an area where Ramsdale would come out and just flap, and a lot of the time you were like, oh my god, I don't know where the ball's going. Whereas Raya does feel like a safer pair of hands, and he claims it and gets on the floor, and like that's all that drama over with. But he's had some real stinky moments, like leading directly to goals. There was that one game where he kicked it straight to Tomiyasu and all this, and other like just fumbly moments. Really not a huge step up. And I personally have been underwhelmed with Raya coming in. I'm sure he won't be best pleased with himself. So I'll have a look at what you guys are saying, then I'll reveal whether I gave him below average, average, or above average. But yeah, that was a bit of a rant from me. Hey Colin, what's up? Saying one thing's for sure, we're going to need a number 2 next season because they both won't stay. Yeah. Is Karl Hein number 2? Is he kind of a third choice? But yeah, you're right. Both of them can't stay. This town ain't big enough for the both of us, as they say in Toy Story. Hey Brenny, what's up? I hope you're doing well. Happy Friday. Ramsdale average then. Yeah, you got it, Steve. You got it. Mile High Hotspur, what's up? Big up my favourite Gunner. Big up my favourite Spurs channel. Hey, Jack. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. What's up? Phil saying, been so busy recently writing, Fran, realised I've written over 1,000 lyrics since August 2021. Oh, that's crazy. You're like Eminem. Apparently Eminem has like wardrobes and wardrobes just full of like different writings that he's done, like just little sentences jotted. So yeah, you don't mind either, Keeper. Yeah, they're both like, they're both very good keepers. Are they both, either of them like world class? No, but hopefully good enough to win a title. I don't know yet. Sup, Steve Bro? Cheers for the sub the other day. Oh, you guys, there's still lots of comments, even though we're newer. Like, oh wow. I'll try and get through some of your comments. Thank you so much for coming in and say hello. Delboy Gunner TV saying, what's the bleeding story, Franner? What's up, Delboy? Yep, we're taking a pause today and just looking back at the performances of the first half of the season. I love doing player ratings and things like that. So thank you for coming to say hello. Kenny Fan TV saying Ramsdale is levels above Raya. Connor saying, I do want to see Ramsdale play now. His performance against Liverpool was decent, to be fair. Take away the result. Yeah, there was nothing he could have done about those goals. So Rancid Pumpkin saying, Raya was an unnecessary signing. He's a good player, but not enough of a level raiser to justify the transfer. But it is what it is. Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's where I'm at. Oh, also, guys, remember to subscribe to CMO and Delboy Gunner TV, both doing really awesome things on their channel. And I presume Kenny Fan TV as well. You must have a channel. Everyone subscribe to each other. Drop your channel links in the chat if it lets you, of course. Hey, Strasbourg saying, I was a hockey goalkeeper too. It was fun, but really difficult, way harder than it looks. Yeah. Are you talking ice hockey? I don't know. I did field hockey. I imagine ice hockey is way harder than it looks. Yeah, seriously. Raya is our number 1. Deal with it. Facts from Rancid Pumpkin. The game against Poole could be Ramsdale's last game for Arsenal. Oh, yeah. Against Liverpool. Why would that? Oh, right. The one we just played. It could be, yeah. It could be. And I'm not like, I just think it was an unfair situation for both players to come into. And yeah, a learning experience for Arteta for sure, because it just caused way too much speculation. The fact I'm still going on about it right now is just, yeah. But Raya is our number 1 keeper and I really back him. So to finish off his ratings, I have seen some things that he's really good at. I think he's a bit quicker on his feet as well, like reacts really quickly in like in the box situations and things like that. is a bit more light-footed, I think, than Ramsdale. A bit quicker, a bit sharper. Haven't seen many blockbuster saves from him like we so often do with Ramsdale, but I don't know whether he's really had many opportunities to do that. Hasn't actually had many chances against him, to be fair, because our defending has been good for the most part this season. But for me, in terms of the decision of having to switch up goalkeepers, I would have expected more, and I presume Arteta would as well. So I gave him an underwhelming score. What do you think? Let me know if you agree or not. Kenny Fan TV saying, to be honest, I have a question. What's the point in signing Tony if he hasn't played football for 8 months? He hasn't played football officially for 8 months, but I know he's been keeping up his fitness and training, doing loads of solo training and stuff. He might be a little bit rusty, I suppose, but you'd hope he would just get up to fitness pretty quickly. But I know he's been on Instagram posting photos of him practicing on practice pitches and stuff, so he's not just been a couch potato for 8 months. You'd think he would pick it up pretty quickly. I would want to kind of take that chance, but he might be rubbish now. I don't know. I doubt it though. I think he's great. Phil saying used to love playing in goal, throwing himself about like a nutter, and help me improve as a striker. Yeah, for sure. I think all strikers should try playing in goal for a bit to kind of get in the mindset and know what goalkeepers hate. Yeah, he lacks match fitness at the moment. That is a fair point. Yeah, so Karl Hein, I don't really have much to say about. Rancid Pumpkin or someone you guys mentioned that we might need. So Ramsdale or Raya, I cannot see both of them staying past the summer. I mean, I didn't even think they'd stay past January, but there seemed to be like no movement really, apart from like loose links of some of our players leaving and then just rumours. And I just want to see our players be sold so that we can get someone in, but I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle. And yeah, anyway. Karl Hein, third choice. If either Raya or Ramsdale were to go, would you be happy having Karl as the second choice backup? I haven't really seen enough of him to know. So I can't, but he was in like the Arsenal squad, so I had to rate him, but I've just done him as meh, okay, average. I'm not really sure. To me, I get the impression that like Arteta doesn't think he's good enough to be a second choice keeper, but I don't really know because he was last season, I think. So I don't know. I don't know too much about him. I cannot comment. We'll talk about Ben White in a sec. Underwhelmed defo sums up Raya. Strasbourg Steve reckons Raya is meh. Okay. Yeah, I think they were underwhelmed, like in terms of like whether it justified the signing is kind of where I'm sat. Hey, Mario Russell, new name in the chat. What's up? Saying Leno was better than both of them. Definitely at shot stopping. I don't know about whether like with the ball at his feet, which is like the obsession at the moment, but he's an amazing shot stopper. He played great the other day, actually. I can't remember which match it was in, but yeah, Leno's really good. I mean, I would say Emile Martinez is better than all of them, but maybe his personality was just like a little bit too abrasive for Arteta, perhaps. I don't know. Allegedly. Kind of saying, no, not Karl Hein. Leave my boy Karl Hein out of this. He hasn't done anything wrong. Arsenal got to go for someone like Georgi Mamardashvili at Valencia. That guy's going to be a top goalkeeper. 2 very good seasons at Los Che. Yeah, I haven't actually seen him that much. I'm starting to watch a bit more European football, but everyone knows Strasbourg Steve, by the way. If you don't, he's the expert. My guy has like 6 different TV screens with every match in Europe on every day. So if you say that, then I believe you. Might as well appoint Gattuso as a new manager. I don't know. Who's Gattuso? Sorry. CMO, Arsenal will go for a striker in the summer. It's not going to happen now due to FFP. I know, and it sucks. It stinks. Neither of them are bad enough to need to sign another keeper yet. Not a priority at all. Very, very good point. If it wasn't a priority in summer, now it definitely isn't a priority at all. We do not need to sign another keeper yet. Maybe like one day, but there are so many other areas in our team that actually need to be addressed. Now we have at least 2 very good keepers for the foreseeable future. No, we're not signing another one. Nowhere near. Fran, have you watched AFCON? Yeah, I've watched a little bit. I'm kind of waiting until the group stages are over because then it gets a bit more spicy for me. Are they over yet? I don't think. Are they? Let me know if they are. But Yeah, I've also enjoyed watching quite a lot of like the Spanish teams play at the moment. So last night, the Supercopa, or is it like Del Rey or de España? One of them, like their FA Cup. I can't remember which one it's called. Last night was really, really good. Ice hockey, that's mad. No, I could not do that. I can't imagine. It's so fast paced. Yes, Fran, I'll post my channel link right away in the chat. And Jordan Hyman. Hey, guys, everyone, Jordan Hyman, such a nice guy, doing his birthday stream on Tuesday night. Happy birthday. So everyone here, go and subscribe to him. He's so nice, knows so much about football. Birthday stream on Tuesday night. We will be there. Happy birthday to you. Who on earth is Karl Hein? Yeah, my friend Jack is in the chat, who's a Chelsea fan. Karl Hein is, yeah, our third choice. Yeah, I don't know. Right, you guys, I can't keep up, so let me keep going. Kenny Fan TV, I've just seen, is doing the AFCON live stream soon for Senegal versus Cameroon. Oh, sick. I'll have to, everyone, go and subscribe to Kenny Fan TV and go and check it out. Renee, what's up? It's your birthday tomorrow. You must be so excited. Yeah, happy birthday for tomorrow. That's so exciting. Yes, guys, let everyone know in the chat which streams you're doing. Like, I know I don't have a huge channel, but at least like spread your channels and stuff through whoever is here. And yeah, so let's talk about Ben White. Last season, obviously, really, really good. They do say he's been playing with a little bit of a knock this year. However, this season, it seems like he is the only right back. There's been no one else that can play there, what with Tomiyasu being injured, Timber being injured. So however bad his form has been, it's just like, Ben White, you're out, go and play for 90 minutes. And this season, I have seen a big drop-off from the Ben White of last season. Is that because of slight injury that he's been carrying? I don't know. It hasn't been like officially confirmed by Arteta, but even if he was carrying a slight injury, like they've really had no choice. It's either him or play Cedric. And we're going to get on to Cedric. We're rating Cedric because I just don't get the point of him being here. I know that there's rumours that he's going to get sold to Getafe or something, but it's just so pointless having a player that you can't even bring in to give Ben White some rest when Ben White is literally injured. So anyway, so last season he was fantastic, tearing up the wing to help Saka, overlapping a lot, really sharp, very tenacious, would kind of stop every single threat that was coming down that left wing from the opposition. Whereas this season, it seems like he's just been a little bit lackluster. What's really stood out to me, let me know your thoughts as well. Like, the way that I watch a match might be totally different from what you see as well. So this is just kind of what I've noticed, and I might be like totally wrong. But especially moments where he could have gone out to engage someone in a match who's coming down that left-hand flank. And instead he's like stood back and waited and allowed that player to dribble into the box. And quite oftentimes it's ended up in a goal or either a shot. There are specific examples that you guys will know and that I can't think of off the top of my head, but have you seen that? I don't know whether it's like reluctance because he's been a little bit injured, but he's not been exactly the same Ben White as last season. So for me, the rating I gave Benjamin has been underwhelming. And that's compared to the very high standards that he set last season. And perhaps it's due to an injury, I don't know. But for me, not been good enough, either defensively or going forward, for my high standards of him. So Connor says, Fran, I'll message about getting you on soon. That'll be awesome. Try WhatsApping me. I'm a bit better on there. Phil saying, Benny White was always a 10 out of 10, but injury or not, 6 out of 10 this season. Yeah, definitely. Definitely underwhelming for me. Connor saying, you can see White hasn't been on it. Personally, I think it's down to tactics as he was so good last season. I mean, that's the thing. As we get through these player ratings, you'll see so many of the players just haven't been on it this season, or just like not quite right, not quite themselves. And like, at what point is it coincidence, or could it actually be down to a change in tactics? I don't know. It's just so odd that so many of them have fallen off at the same time. So yeah, Mr. B saying he needs Livramento at right back. I think, yeah, Ben White definitely needs someone to at least compete with as well. He's had like no competition there, apart from Tomiyasu, but Tomiyasu is made of glass as well. So Fran, get Harry Scout from Leicester. Trust me, he's Trust me, he's good. He's not like Harry Maguire. I like how you have to caveat every like player defender that you sell. Just go like, he's not like Harry Maguire. Don't worry. I'll take your word for it though. I'll take your word for it. Lottie, good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Lottie. I'll see you soon. That's my sister. I'm going for a movie night there afterwards. Hence the early stream. I can't wait. We're gonna watch some dumb horror film. We like to find like stupid horror films that with like terrible CGI and like really bad acting, and just like watch them and like take the piss. It's amazing. So Phil saying maybe Benny is playing underneath different instruction from Arteta, as he has been like tweaking. Yeah, he just hasn't looked like as sure of himself, as comfortable in that position. Maybe he has been given like different tactics, as you're saying. I mean, I wouldn't know what they are, but he just doesn't look like as sure of himself. It looks like he's panicking sometimes, and I don't know what it is. You'd think he'd be feeling a bit more confident having Declan Rice in front of him now, who's like the biggest like mopper up of mistakes that you could possibly imagine in a defence. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it could be having a brand new goalkeeper and then a new midfield in front of you too. Like, it is going to upset the balance a little bit, isn't it? I don't know. Simple solution to all of this. As Strasbourg Steve saying, Livramento ain't going nowhere, Mr. B. I don't know. We'll see about that. Get Edu on it, and you never know. I'm kidding. We're terrible in the transfer window. Phil saying, simple solution to all this, buy better quality backups. Yeah, for sure. We're going to go through all of the backups. They're all in this rating. So I'm going to be live for so long. So settle down. Grab a cup of tea, lads. Heiner's no future at Arsenal. Seeing if I've missed any of your comments. Anyway, yeah. For me, underwhelming. Let's move on to the next player. So his famous backup, Cedric Soares, rumoured to be out on loan or being sold. We bought in Cedric Soares, or Arteta did, on a free, 3 years ago? Or 4 years ago now. It feels like he's been here for about 20 years. The last 2 years, we've barely seen him at all. This season, in fact, he's had... where's he gone? Cedric Soares has had 1 appearance. I think that was pretty recently. By no means like really impressed, but can he be that bad? This is what I'm thinking, because you're playing Ben White while he's clearly injured and out of form. Like, is Cedric? I mean, the answer is yes. Yes is the answer to my next question. Like, is Cedric so much of a drop off that you can't even like rest Ben White if we're like winning 4-1 or something, like, or in a dead rubber? Like, I think Ben White even played the dead rubber against PSV. I think Ben White has been super overplayed again. At the beginning of the season, I was impressed. We were starting to see some rotation with Kiwior, not Cedric, but like, if he's so bad that you can't even rotate him in dead rubber kind of games with Ben White, then honestly, what is the point of having Cedric at this club? I do not know, apart from filming Snapchat videos of him throwing the ball to win. I don't know. I'm fed up of these like bench warmer players that are never even rotated in the squad, but are picking up thousands of quid a week just for training and play no part in the team whatsoever. What is he? He must be like 5th choice, right back, left back, full back. I don't know. I'd like to see him play more. This is the thing. I'd like to see the rotation, but clearly he just isn't good enough. Connor's saying Cedric is Wins trainer. That's about it. Yeah, maybe that's why he's still here. Like, his job is just to throw the ball to win. I think Cedric played for us guys in the League Cup versus Brentford. Oh, was he was out on loan? Was he out on loan? Newcastle, or do you mean for Arsenal? Cedric is completely irrelevant to Arsenal. Why he's still there, I have no idea. Cedric, 3 words, please sell now. Mr. B saying, even we don't want Cedric. That is rich coming from you guys. Again, we can only sell bench warmers if we replace. It's like replacing an empty, like selling an empty shoebox and then replacing it with an empty shoebox. You're not going to use it anyway. It's just filling up space. So I'd rather just have empty space there than Cedric, who's doing nothing, who's just eating wages. I don't know. But as you say, the key is to bring in better backups. I don't know. Arsenal need to sell him, Cedric, in my opinion. See, even the Leicester fan is saying it. We do. Why he's still here, I don't know. It's probably because no one's like super interested in him. But come on, he's still a Premier League player in Arsenal squad, like getting trained at London Colney. Someone should want him, and that's why we're getting rumours. Hopefully that he might be going somewhere in Europe. If we could make like 1 or 2 million for him, that would be great. Nothing against the guy, but yeah, he needs to go. So, yeah, for me, I rated him as no, underwhelming. Because if you're not even performing well enough in training that you can get like the odd 5 minutes here and there or play when White is clearly injured, then what are you doing here? Yeah. So anyway, moving on to the next. Timber, again, I can't really give him a super fair rating. I think I've just given him meh okay, because as you guys will know, he played twice in pre-season and then got injured the first game of the Prem. It's so unfortunate. I feel so bad for him. I can't imagine like psychologically how devastating that must have been to like move your entire life away from where he was playing. I think it was Ajax. And then your first competitive game in the Prem, you get injured and none of your friends are around you. I don't know if he had his family around him. Like, I cannot imagine. This whole time I've just felt nothing but sorry for him, and he's been hugely missed, even though we only saw him once or twice. I mean, we'll look at how thin our defence is right now. The fact that we're even talking about maybe having to bring in a defender on loan in January just shows like, I do actually feel sorry for Arteta and stuff as well, because obviously one of the main things that caused our downfall towards the end of last season was losing Saliba and not having the right standard of defender to come in and fill in. So we go and get like one of the best promising young defenders out there, Jurrien Timber, who plays like Zinchenko basically, but without the like clangers in terms of defending. He's like Zinchenko, but a bit sharper and quicker and can actually defend. So Connor, very funny. It's going down. I'm yelling, Timber, you better move. You better dance. You're speaking my language, the 2000s tunes. Big up, Fran. Thank you, Ensman TV. Big up to you too. Everyone, you must go and subscribe to Ensman TV. This guy, massive wind up, and you love it when Arsenal fail, but really nice guy. Liverpool fan. Knows ball as well. So if you haven't, go and subscribe to Ensman. He's great. Big up, chat. Fran, I'm telling you, Timber will be quality for us. I know, you could see it. It was so exciting just seeing those 2 or 3 games. Like, I knew he was good and that he was linked with Manchester United, like the last couple of transfer windows. But then actually seeing him, he's on it. Like, he's so good. He's so fluid, like so quick thinking, really defensively switched on, as well as quick thinking attacking wise. It's just so sad. It's so sad. But yeah, I rated him as like meh okay, because like, but honestly, like, all the best to the guy. I hope he's not finding recovery too stressful, but yeah, I feel so bad for him. So next we move on to Big William Saliba. I don't know what we would do without him, honestly. So I mean, if you think about what happened last season, like the big collapse, almost entirely linked with the fact that William Saliba got injured. And they have tried to remedy that this season by bringing in Declan Rice, who, as I say, like will mop up any spills in the defence. Even if your goalkeeper messes up, Declan Rice will somehow like apparate on the goal line and head it away. He's fantastic. And also William Saliba is now back. He's been fit. I worry whether he perhaps is overplaying. But what can I say about this guy? I mean, I had really high expectations of him after he played so well last season. We lost him. I was so excited for him to come back this season, and he actually has not disappointed. In fact, has just continued to grow like in reputation, has continued to grow like in my mind as like such a good player. He's not, we had a big conversation with Ensman about this. Like, some people say he's as good as Van Dijk and stuff, and he's not that, but like, he's on the completely right trajectory and has all of the ingredients necessary to become a world-class defender like that. And yeah, I've just been so impressed. His composure, it's been nice to see as well this season, him actually like having a few runs with the ball. And it's mad because when he does run with the ball, suddenly it's like he's gone 50 yards up the pitch because he's got these mega strides, and he just rips up the pitch when he does run with the ball a couple of times. it's been nice to see him actually, doing that and getting a bit more involved in, because he's so powerful as well. He can just like bounce people off in. So it's been nice seeing him get on the ball and run with it up the pitch, because he just eats up the yards. And then suddenly, we're on an attack. So it's nice to see his game kind of developing in that way. And of course, he was like one of the few defenders that just like bodied Haaland. Like Haaland, that was the one where Haaland got like one chance, I think, when we played City. He absolutely ruined him. It was so good. We're just so lucky to have this guy. So let's see what you're saying. He got man of the match against City. Yeah. Or no, that was Timber. Zinny with the headless chicken defending. Defo Connor, Timber is the final piece of the jigsaw for our starting defenders. Yeah, he's like Zinny, but can actually defend. Did Timber get injured against Man? Timber is awesome. It was Forest he got injured at. Yeah, first game of the season. It's so unlucky. Steve says, Timber is awesome. I'm concerned, though, that Arteta would try him at centre-back. Probably, which is not his best position. He struggled more often than not at centre-backs at Ajax compared to right-back. Yeah, I think the plan is for him to be played at left-back, so I don't know what you think about that. But I think he can play both, can't he? Either way, we really need the help with Ben White not playing so good and Zinchenko can't defend at full-back. It's still mad, I think, that Timber got injured and then we sent Kieran Tierney out on loan after Timber got injured. Like right now, I would love to bring Tierney back in, but Tierney was always injured anyway, so I don't know what it is with us and injuries, but it's crazy. Timber will be excellent coming back. He certainly will. Kenny Fan TV. Timber made of wood. That's so dumb. I love it. Mourinho. I love Mourinho. He just cracks me up. I rescind my comment that I wouldn't mind him as coach at Arsenal. I like him being coached somewhere in the Prem because he's just so funny. His press conferences, he just kills me. So let's see what you guys were saying about Saliba. You'd say 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Yeah, give me your numbers. It's fine. We'll just rate however we like. This is a chill discussion. Still one of the top 5 best defenders in the league for me. Completely. You can see him going somewhere like a Real Madrid, Bayern after this. That's the thing. That's why this team has to achieve something soon, because these amazing, like, verging on world-class players are going to leave to get somewhere where they're going to be winning silverware. So Saliba was good for Arsenal. Yeah, he's been so good. I think he's one of those players that you don't really notice how good he is, though, like, if you're not an Arsenal fan, because he's like pretty calm and like understated guy. He's so smooth. Like, he doesn't really kick up a fuss much. He just like calmly goes about his business and like, wipes up everything, a bit like Declan Rice. But if you really watch him as an opposition fan, you'll be like, whoa, he's good. So centre back, so he's not good. Virgil van Dijk or Fofana. Yeah, we really need to get Fofana. Timber at left back or right back. Yeah, that works, just not really centre back. Yeah, I was laughing though because you said like he better not play at centre back, and then we know that Arteta so he'll get a right winger or something and just say like, okay, you're going to play centre mid, or he'll bring in a centre back like Kiwior and just say, right, you're a left back now. It's the whole Pep like tinkering with positioning and just hope like by some miracle that player can suddenly play a brand new position when so rarely does it actually work. It's crazy. Yusuf Fofana, I think, is the really good one, but you'd have to ask Strasbourg Steve, who is European football mad, but I've been hearing good things about. I think it's you. I don't know. You guys tell me which one's the good Fofana. To be honest, I can't really comment. I'm trying to get there with my European football knowledge, but at the moment it's limited. Connor saying I'll take anyone at left back at this point, bar Zinchenko and Kiwior. There is no one else, Connor. Saka, Havertz. I would take Havertz there. I think that would be better than Zinchenko and Kiwior. But yeah, so our first very nice above average of the season goes to Saliba. Very nice. So that's our first one out of like 6 players already that is actually exceeding my expectations. Everyone else has been distinctly average or subpar, which may go some ways to explaining why we're not as good as last season. So well done, Saliba. Next player. Gabriel Magalhães. So I still don't really know how to say his second name, but look at his beautiful white teeth. Look at his smile. Doesn't that just make you smile? That makes me smile. So so underrated. Just first of all, so underrated. I keep going back to at the end of last season when Saliba was injured, the whole team was going to hell. Gabriel Magalhães never gave up, and he'd be working so hard when the games were done and dusted and the whole team was falling apart, he'd be going in there with the tackles. He was showing up mainly on his own a lot of the time, with Rob Holding running around somewhere else like a headless chicken, and Zinchenko probably injured. But Gabriel was holding the fort on his own basically towards the end of last season. And last season and going into this season, do you notice the bozo gene has gone? Have you seen these dumb red card, yellow card challenges from Gabriel? I haven't. I think his improvement has been subtle but fantastic, and it's so nice to see a player actually taking on criticism and feedback and adjusting the way he plays. I think not only is he very dogged and determined, but he's managed to rein in the aggressive side, so he's more of a smart thinking Gabriel. As Rancid Pumpkin says, Gabby M is equal to Saliba. And I think, like Voldemort and Harry Potter, you can't talk about one without mentioning the other. Although neither of them are villains, they are both my heroes. I think individually they're fantastic, but together it just becomes something next level. Because what I've enjoyed seeing this season is both of them really, really celebrating when they do manage to keep a clean sheet, or make a really good challenge or a really good block. They're really gassed about it. They've got this kind of team pair thing, or where they challenge themselves, let's see how good we can be this match, and they get really gassed with each other when one of them does something good. If they get a clean sheet, then even better. So it's been really nice to see with them playing together for so long now, really establishing a bond and a camaraderie. I think I wouldn't want to break this pair up for the world. I think they're absolutely fantastic. So for me, he also gets a very nice. That accent wasn't so good for the Borat. Very nice. That's it. Rancid Pumpkin saying, I don't get the dislike Kiwior gets. He isn't that bad. We lost our games because we couldn't finish our meal. Yeah, I've never... Is he getting actual blame and hate? Because I don't think that's fair. He's being asked to play out of position, and he's not been horrendous. He just hasn't been amazing. So yeah, the defensive midfielder Yusuf Fofana at Monaco. Yeah. Steve saying Saliba very nice. Agreed. Yeah. Gabriel not as solid as Saliba for me, but still out of 10. See, I think he is a solid. He's just a bit underrated. Teeth cleaned with the window lean, you know it. Renee, as a Chelsea fan, Wesley Fofana has been a waste of time. Been with us for 2 years and has played 10 games. Wouldn't help Arsenal whatsoever. Oh, no, we're not talking Wesley Fofana. No, he can stay away. Magalhães doesn't look as smooth as Saliba, but he's equally important. For real, he's the dog, the one that gets down and dirty. And sometimes Saliba is kind of you can deal with that, Gabriel. And Gabriel's yeah. He brings the aggression to Saliba's calm Rolls Royce energy, and I just love him. The dirtier the game is, the more physical it is, the better Gabriel is, and they complement each other so nicely. So yeah, for me it's a very nice. Those two are amazing, just amazing, and please, I hope nothing happens to them. And our backup again is so thin. If something does happen to either one of them, and it's really unfortunate because Timber was brought in to address these things, but Timber's injured, so I just don't really know what to suggest. I just pray that perhaps they can be protected a little bit with a bit more rotation with the likes of Kiwior, who is a centre-back. That'll be nice, if we're on top in a game. As I said, I was impressed with seeing a bit of rotation at the start of the season, but as the pressures got onto Arteta, it seems like the rotation is kind of dried up, and again you're bleeding these players dry. So start to rotate, give these top your starting 11 just a few minutes of rest at the end of games if we're on top, So anyway, next up, as I said, guys, this is going to be a long stream, so feel free to tune in. It's Friday, just relax. You can come back later, or when I finish the stream, come back and I'll timestamp it. You can just see see which players you're interested in and skip to it. But we're going to do all of them. E-Rolls. That better not be my new name. God damn. Big up every time, the Queen of Hawaiian Pizza. Damn. I can't be having that as my new name. Hell no. But big up to you, E-Ross. Happy Friday. So we're just on to Zinchenko. Where to really start with him? First of all, I find him really funny. I know this isn't anything to do with player ratings, but he's a hype merchant, but in the way that it's at really weird points in the game. So he does this face that you can see on the screen, but he'll do it when we're like 3-0 up and we've just won a corner, or like someone has just done a really irrelevant like block like in the center of the pitch, and then he turns to the crowd and goes like, come on. You gotta watch out for it because it's really funny. It's normally at like a weird time where he tries to like G up the crowd, and I don't know, it's just one of those quirks that I find quite funny about him. So you got to look out for it. So, and I like that. I will never like have a go at a player or like think they're worse for being a hype merchant. I just love that stuff. I love the theatre of the game, and I hate how the refs and things are trying to shut down the theatre of the game. Like, I understand like not abusing refs and things, but like when Arteta like stepped his foot outside of the coaching area and got like a touchline ban and stuff, that was crazy. Yeah, players like encouraging the crowd, I love it. Give it to me every time. Last night actually, in the derby, El Derby, one of their players that came on, and so the Atleti player that scored the third or fourth goal, just one of the goals, got a yellow for like going and celebrating with the crowd, which I didn't really understand. If anyone can enlighten me on that, but yeah. Oi, Renee saying Homer Simpson lookalike. That's rude. More Bart Simpson, I reckon. Fair enough, Fran on Gabriel. I always trust your judgment. Wise. That's very wise of you. Jokes. I talk some rubbish sometimes. Big up every time. Zinny 4 out of 10 has lost his mind. That's a bit harsh. Big up Fran, hope you're well. Big up everyone. But Zinny's a 7 out of 10. He's great, but unfortunately his blackouts tend to be costly. Yes, so it's been this whole toss-up this season between whether what he brings to us going forward is good enough to compensate for these moments where he just completely like screws up basically defensively, especially if a team decides to really quickly attack down their right hand flank and Zinny's caught like in a counter attack moment. He tends to like mistime a tackle or go in too early, and then he's just left like he's just completely cut out the game, and then this attacker or two attackers will just have like the run of the right hand side of their pitch, our left hand side, to just come in and like cause chaos, and Zinny's just been completely cut out. And there's been too many times this season where it's like that Zinchenko mistake led directly to them coming and having a really good chance on goal or actually coming in and scoring. That's happened too many times for me. However, you do really notice a lack of any attacking motion on the left-hand side when Zinchenko is not playing. When Kiwior was playing, it seemed like there was this huge, Zinchenko-shaped gap, like no connection between our defence and forwards on the left-hand side. So he brings that when we've got possession of the ball. So I would say, I don't know, it's hard because even when we're playing a low block team, like I worry about him when there's a fast counter-attack. So I don't really know. I think it's hard though. I don't get why it's so damaging because you've got Saliba, and I think when we're playing, it's really hard. Like, it's a really hard one. I don't really have the answer. Like, is what he brings us going forward enough to justify these sometimes really costly mistakes with teams attacking against us, that he makes defensively? I don't really know. I don't know. So let's see what I rated him. Oh, I was harsh. This morning. So I gave him an underwhelming. It was probably because I was thinking about him last season, and now this season we're seeing more of these like defensive moments coming through. But he has been really good attacking wise. So I don't know. What do you guys think? So Like it beehives, and Zinchenko, now his new nickname. Haha, new bozo gene. Should try Zinchenko at his natural position. Really good point, Eros, and I'll come back to that. Inverted BS saying Mr. Beehive of football. Yeah, fair enough. Dome, Zinny would say that in that photo. Yes, the Simpsons movie. The Dome. I will star that question, answer it as sec, Phil. So Eros makes a really good point saying should try Zinchenko as a natural position. And for the life of me, I have no idea why he hasn't tried playing in the left 8, why he hasn't been given a chance to play there. So that's where he plays for Ukraine. Apparently it's his natural position, being in the midfield. And that's so true, because the moments where we see him best are when he's doing intricate passes, going forward, linking up with, well, it was Xhaka, but now I suppose it'd be Declan Rice, Odegaard, Martinelli, whoever's playing number 9, false 9. Those guys, right? He's so good being that little Spider-Man in the middle of all these intricate passes, like going forward. It would be so fantastic to see him playing at that left 8 role with less like threatening areas of defensive responsibility. So having an actual left back behind him, and then he could have a bit more chance to do what he does best, which is attacking forward with the team. So please, Arteta, if you can tell us why Zinchenko is not playing in that left 8 role sometimes, I think it seems so obviously a great solution, and he would be so good in that position. So maybe it's just because we don't have another left back. What would have been great, in my opinion, is having Zinchenko play in midfield and having, I don't know, Kieran Tierney play at left back, linking up with him and actually doing some defending for him. It's like how Xhaka, when he was playing a more defensive midfield role, was like a disaster. And then he was moved to the attacking left 8, so given less defensive responsibility, and then suddenly he really flourished. I think Zinchenko might do that. It's like, clearly he sucks at defending, just don't make him defend as much, you know? So yeah, for me, underwhelming, but is it because he's being asked to play a position that it doesn't suit his strengths, you know? Eros saying 100% Fran, you know it. Rancid Pumpkin saying no Timber, no Tomiyasu. Yeah, you're right, no Zinny in midfield. But he wasn't in midfield when we did have Tomiyasu fit, I suppose. But you're right, maybe he has to play there because, yeah, there's no one else really. And then again, you go back to the unfortunate circumstance that Timber's injured. Like, it's all really unlucky, to be fair. So Eros again saying you can see Zinny doesn't want to play defence. Rene saying why not sell back to City? I think City would like just slam the door in your face and go like, no, we got rid of that guy for a reason. Like Pep knew. He's really injury prone and can't defend. But his natural position is midfield. Pep like decided to tinker and play him at left back, like, and then Arteta stuck with that. But moving back into midfield, I don't know. Pep's best friend playing them out of position. You ain't Pep's for Arteta. You tell him, Mr. B. You tell him. Static. Hello. Hey, Static. Static sent me this awesome picture of the Bergkamp merch that I need to post that. Hope you're doing good, bro. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, thank you for joining. We've just got through. We're rating defense at the moment. We just finished Zinchenko, and my head's a mess, but overall, he's underwhelmed me this season. So next, we're going to look at Jakub Kiwior, the Kiwi. The Kiwi isn't ripe. Big up Curtis. I don't know what to say about this guy. For me, we brought him in last January alongside Leandro Trossard and Jorginho, and at the time it was kind of like I thought we would get more performance. Like I thought we would get more out. I thought he would be more ready to go than he has been, you know. So I thought we were going to bring him in last January and instantly he would make a difference to the team. But instead, he's been one of these like project promising players that we're kind of trying to refine, but looks like he'll probably not reach the standard and end up going out on loan. But is that his fault or not? I don't really know. So Jakub Kiwior. First of all, he's a centre-back. And whenever we've seen him come and play, mainly he's come in to cover at left-back. And on top of that, a weird form of left-back, so inverting left-back. And he just looks completely confused, like that's not his position, which it isn't. First of all, to judge him fairly, I would like to see him rotated perhaps with Gabriel or Saliba when they need some rest, because they're going to get injured if they don't get some rest soon. I'd like to see him actually play at centre-back and see how he plays there, because, you know, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Playing players in their position, Mikel. But judging him on his performances at left-back, he's not been like a disaster by any means, but has not been like outstanding. You know, I think like it's not someone that you're facing as a right winger on the opposition and going like, oh, I'm really scared. I've got no idea how I'm going to get past him. Like, he's got some technical skills. He's pretty good at passing. He's all right at defending, but he's not super physical. Like, he's not outstanding at any certain areas. He's like okay. Do you know what I mean? He's like okay at all of it. He doesn't suck at any certain areas. Like, he's okay at all of it, but he's not a specialist like left back. Do we have any specialist left backs right now? I don't think we do. We've just got players that are versatile and can kind of play in a few positions. Jack of all trades, master of none. That's kind of the impression I'm getting of our defenders at the moment. Well, not the centre backs, but the full backs and some of our midfield. And a few of our team are a jack of all trades and a master of none. So they're all kind of an average level. And if you want to be winning a title, you need to have lots of exceptional players who are really good at what they do. And Jakub just isn't fitting into that right now. He has a wife who can like move her twerking butt cheeks individually, which is pretty mad skill, to be fair. And so that's quite exceptional, but I'm not sure Jakub is showing where he is exceptional. So yeah, let me know what you think of Kiwior. I think he's all right at most things, but he doesn't suck. Like, he doesn't excel, you know? So no doubt when Partey is back, he will play inverted right back. Don't, Phil. Forgot about that. Kiwior, great header against Liverpool. Mr. B, that's a timeout for you. Kiwior is a 5 out of 10. We don't see a lot of him. No, we don't. And at the beginning of the season, we were seeing a bit more rotation. And that rotation is good because it prevents your key players getting injured, and it allows these guys like Kiwior to get more experience and be a bit more comfortable in the team. But no, we're not seeing it. Please, Arteta, no inverting with Kiwi. Yeah, I mean, we saw against Liverpool that Arteta just went like, you know what, like scrap inverting. Kiwior, just try and defend today, yeah? And it was better. I would be harsh on him. He's a 1 out of 10. Renee, damn. Best thing about Kiwior is his twerking girlfriend. Facts. Kiwior has been poor but doesn't get enough time, so what the hell does Arteta expect? Yeah, honestly, that's what I don't get about these players that are not part of the starting 11. They don't get enough time to really come into match fitness. Yeah, so thought it was said Keely Hawes. Sorry, it's Kiwior. That's a niche BBC drama kind of actor there, so I like it from you, Mr. B. Keely Hawes, The Bodyguard, great series. Static says, Fran, hey sis, I'm joking, lol. It's really good to see you and finally catch you live as well. I actually watched the show at the start. I'm back and forth with 2 other live shows before. You're just here, there, and everywhere. Like, where there's a live, you will be. And I appreciate you tuning into my little live as well. So thank you. Gil, what's up? Saying big up, Fran. Hope all is well. Both of you I know have emailed me, and I will get back to you when I can. I'm really sorry I'm so slow at replying, but I have seen it. Hope all is well. I'm sick of Mikel throwing Zinni under the bus to the wrath of fans, destroying his confidence in the process. Play him in midfield for God's sake. Preach. I agree with that. Kiwior is a good centre-back, just terrible in Arteta's system. I agree with that, BX. What's up? Nice to see you. A show must have finished. You 3 guys have just come in. Mohammed, what's up? New name in the chat. Hello, welcome. Oh no. Sack the Spanish fraud, Farteta. Hello, Mohammed. Everyone is emotionally attached to Farteta. What he bring to Arsenal? 1 FA Cup winning team is Emery's team. Arteta spent 680 million euros in 4.5 years. I see where you're sat. And actually, I can't even argue with a lot of the points. 1 FA Cup in 4 going on 5 years now. And most of that was Emery's team. Arteta spent 680 million euros. I think it's a little less than that. Also, it's definitely around that number, though, in 4.5 years. And yeah, if you're like new to my channel, I completely agree with so much of what you said there. I want to give him to the end of the season, but I'm really erring towards like thinking that he might be our Brendan Rodgers and we need an actual winning kind of level manager to take us to the next step of where Arsenal needs to be. He's got all the right intentions with this club and he wants to get there, but I just wonder whether he has the technical know-how or experience. I know he doesn't have the experience because he's learning the experience as we speak. And I know he's got all the potential to be a good manager. It's just, and to be a top level manager, it's just like, do Arsenal have the time to wait for him to go through like learning how to be a top class manager while we wait for trophies, you know? It's kind of where I'm at. Phil said, I always get confused with left back and right back because I played mostly up front. So think of a team from striker to goalie. Right, and not goalie to striker. Plus I have a small brain. Haha. See, I think of it as like, that's our left because I'm like used to being a goalie. So yeah, I do get confused as well. Some people are so good at like all the different positions and stuff. And I just kind of think like defense, mid, attack most of the time. So Arteta is having it off with Kiwior's wife, confirmed. Okay. Damn, Jack came with violence. There's a plan A and a plan C. There's no plan B at this club. That's the problem. Absolutely, yeah, I completely agree with that. Fran, I try, lol. There's a major drop-off from the starting 11 to the bench players. Exactly. That's why I was hopeful at the beginning of the season that we were seeing a bit more of this rotation. But still, it seems like whenever Arteta's under pressure, he reverts back to, I must have this starting 11 and they must play this exact way and in these positions or else like there's nothing or else it's chaos, as you say. There's either a plan A or a plan C, which normally sucks, by the way. The plan C is not good. So yeah, Kiwior, it's a hard one, but I've given him no. Michael Scott, underwhelming. Is it fair though, because he's being asked to play out of position? But then if you've brought someone in for his versatility, like, I don't know, jack of all trades, master of none. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Either way, when we brought him in January, I expected a lot more. I'm seeing players that are just below like our current starting 11's level, not raising the bar. And so how are we going to improve if we keep bringing in players that are like here and have to like train them up to be there? You know, you need to bring in a few players that are right up here and then that can raise everyone else's level, if you know what I mean. I don't know. He's just not, again, like not amazing. So Fran, Savage time. Everyone so far is below average. Saliba and Gabriel above average. That's what I've given some averages, but you're right with the Saliba and Gabriel are the only ones so far that have been above average. You're right. In the old days, fringe squad players could play midweek reserve team footy, which kept them match ready. Yeah, I've heard that. Apparently they would play with like the under 21s or the reserves to keep them match ready. And it seems like that doesn't happen at all. Because, yeah, you're either red hot, you're a starting 11 and probably being overplayed, or you've been completely sidelined by Arteta and you just never play until he needs you, and then you're just completely cold and you're just going to suck. It's so unfair, I think. Fran, I appreciate it. Keep promoting your art too. Yes, thank you, Static. Guys, remember, I chat some rubbish about football. The main thing I love to do is art, and you can see that behind me. I'm doing a new Saka portrait soon of him like sat on a throne, looking like a king, and it's going to be so cool, and that's going to be a new t-shirt. So yeah, stay subscribed and turn on notifications because I'll be posting updates about that on YouTube. Like, YouTube's my main platform, but you can find me on Instagram as well. And of course there's my website, which is all in my descriptions and things like that. So thank you for reminding me, Static. 1-2 dinner plates. Yep, true, we won. The FA Cup isn't a dinner plate. We did win the Community Shield, so I'll take it. I agree about Kiwior. No. Frank Kiwior wants to leave on loan. I hope so. Well, probably because he's been bought in, like promised that he can play centre-back, which is his position. But instead he's been left like being a reserve left-back and then having to invert. And it's just all crazy. I feel so bad for these players if you're not like one of the chosen ones, you know? So, yeah. Right. Next, Takehiro Tomiyasu. Not much I can say about this guy apart from he's been really amazing when he has played this season, but he's made of glass. Yet again, injured with this calf issue. And me, myself, I don't know. I've had many calf issues and like shin splints and things. And they're so hard to heal from. So if it's something like that, then like, I don't know if these injury issues are going to get better. Like, despite how hard he works and wants it, like that's a really reoccurring issue. And like, I don't know, who knows what's actually wrong with, I've got a thing here saying, or is he injured now? Is he injured? Or is he playing? Is he just at the Asia Cup? Or is he actually injured now? I think he might be back. So for scrap what I was saying, when he's fit, he's great. As Rancid Pumpkin says, this guy's awesome if he's fit, and he is, but he seems to never be fit, and now he's at the Asia Cup, which good luck to him, all the best to him, but we need you back, bro, so please come back. We need him back a lot. But even when he does play, I just think, like, please, like, get him off the pitch, because he's going to get injured. Like, he's so injury prone, but he is, like, really, really good. So let's see. I've given him a meh okay, because he's barely been fit this season, but when we have seen him, he's been really good. But the injuries kind of counteract the really goodness. So let's see what you guys are saying. So Eros said, Fran, the Martinelli hoodie and drawing is amazing, by the way. Thank you again. Oh, it arrived. That's fantastic. I'm really glad to hear that, Eros. Yay. Yeah, unfortunately, I've got the ESR hoodie on at the moment, and ESR is on my wall up there. So if he goes on loan, then my business is just dead in the water. So whatever. Jack says, I remember going to watch some of the Chelsea first team play in the reserves at Aldershot back in the day. Definitely helped them get their fitness back without having to play against Salah or something. Oh, that sounds great. That's mad. All the way over in Aldershot. That's like our neck of the woods for you guys who don't know. We live like Hampshire, and Aldershot is our local team, otherwise known as Aldershit, if you'll excuse my language. So that's mad seeing Chelsea's first team play there. Yeah, maybe that'll be nice if Arsenal could come to Aldershot. Tommy on the fruit shoots. Tommy on the fruit shoots. He needs his juice, man. Mohammed saying, in my personal opinion, sack the Spanish fraud right now or in the summer. Bring in Zidane. That Zidane factor to give an edge in the Mbappe signing. I like your thinking, and that's where we need to be aiming for getting players like Mbappe and stuff. Whether Zidane would actually come to the Prem, apparently, like, he doesn't want to, but I like it. You've got to aim high. You've got to aim high. I like your mentality, Mohammed. I did send you a DM ages ago with that Saka picture, which would make great bit of art. I'll have to check. I'll be honest though, guys, the best way to reach me is via email. Even then, I'm pretty bad at email. But yeah, thank you very much for everyone who is contacting me. That sounds awesome. I'll have to check it out, Phil. Hi, Fran. It's a must-win tomorrow for Arsenal. You don't have to tell me, man. Like, I cannot stress how much of a must-win it is. Yeah, you're right. Big up, by the way. Welcome to the stream. He played today. Oh, did he? How did Japan do? Let me know. So he did play today, but Phil says he might be injured. So maybe he played today and got injured. I wouldn't be surprised. Mikel is Brendan Rodgers 2.0. I hope not, but it could be the case. It could. Tommy, if he can just stay healthy, he can be an Arsenal great. See potential in him. Me too. I love him. I love the guy. His work ethic is just fantastic. He's such a nice guy. Like, he's got a really great football brain. He works so hard. As you say, he could be an Arsenal great. He just needs to stay healthy. So 8 out of 10 saying Renee. Fran, you're welcome. Keep going. My mum is an art fanatic. She's really into it. She says you're excellent, especially for Bergkamp. Oh, thank you so much. I'll tell her thank you so much. That means a lot. The Bergkamp one, yeah. I'm really glad, because I wasn't like too sure if I got the expression right. So thank you so much. Colin Williams saying our record with injury-prone players is not good going back years. Yeah, the club apparently go into new players' background and character, but so many have been out more than in. Tommy is okay now, I think. You're really right. They do definitely, and I've praised the fact that our club do go into the players' background and character, and they seem to be getting that spot on most of the time. You know, everyone's really bonded and got a great work ethic. There's no like drama queens, sulking people in the dressing room. Everyone's got a really great like ethos. They're very together, really want to learn, all of that good stuff. But as you say, a lot of them are really injury prone. So perhaps what they can learn going forward is like, maybe you could sacrifice a little bit of the character and stuff. Like, if they're going to be injured every other 2 weeks, like, get a few like assholes, if you'll excuse the language, that at least are probably going to stay fit. But then like we bring in players like Partey or Timber that have like really good injury records that just seem to suddenly get injured. I do really wonder, like, are they being overtrained? And we spoke about this a couple of streams ago. With the fixture congestion now and players having to play so much more minutes, do coaches and like coaching staff need to like bring down the intensity of training sessions maybe? Because this injury problem is not just a problem at Arsenal, it's happening all the way across the Prem. So we can't change the fact that there are more and more matches to play, but you can do things like rotate more. It's becoming more of a squad game rather than a starting 11 game, and maybe bring down the intensity of training sessions. I'm sure they're doing that already. Like, these clubs have the best sports scientists and stuff, but these injuries are just not sustainable. Hey, what's up? Jez is in the chat. Happy Friday, Jez. Everyone subscribe to Arsenal The History and More if you haven't, if you live under a rock. One of the best channels out there, one of the realest Arsenal fans. Definitely go and subscribe if you have not. So Jez says, Rancid Pumpkin, if he bought a proper striker, then we would probably score our chances. As he hasn't since getting rid of Oba, then he is to blame. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. You're always so busy, I don't expect a reply. Thank you, Phil. Thank you for your patience. I didn't know we were rating players at the moment. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're kind of rating them numbers in the chat, and then I'm just rating them with whether they're okay, above average, or below average. So we're just gonna roll with it. It's a relaxed stream. It's a Friday party, like. So right, let's keep going before I get all super distracted anymore. So we're on to the next guy, Declan Rice. So Declan Rice bought in this season for what, like over $100 million, pounds, English pounds, which is like a lot more dollars. And at the time, it was like, oh my God, it was a lot of money, but I was so happy that it was so much money, because finally, like, we're in the league of the big clubs who are buying these £100 million players. You know, before that, it was kind of like other players are in the race to sign them, like, we're not big enough to sign those, or that was the narrative. And in fact, it was so nice to see us moving like a big club and actually going for these £100 million players that the likes of City are in for, that big clubs in Europe are looking at. So it felt so good when we signed Declan Rice. Like, as an Arsenal fan, like, I had my shoulders back and was like, look, we just signed, like, and all my friends had nothing to say to me, because Declan Rice is just, like, undeniably such a talent. And I didn't even know how good he was. Like, I'd kind of thought that he was like a really key player in West Ham, but I don't know, like, would he make a transition to a big club? Like, I just didn't know too much about him. And for me, he's hugely exceeded my expectations, and the way he's like blossoming into this team, blossoming. It's so quick how they grow up. Yeah, he's really, really impressed me. And I think you'll probably already guess that my rating for Declan Rice is that he's above average. So my thoughts on how he's performed compared to my expectations. My expectations were that he was going to be a really great defensive midfielder and really add some stability to a defence that so badly needed it. When Thomas Partey's barely ever fit, we saw how we collapsed last season when Saliba wasn't available. But he's been so much better than I ever could have thought. Unfortunately, I do feel like he will be quite disappointed having come into the team, looking at how well we were playing last season. And suddenly this season, like, the football is slow and boring, and he's having to, like, mop up so many stupid defensive errors. And, like, we would probably be like 10 points further down the table without him this season. Like, that's the amount he's saved us in. So, like, from goal line saves when for Raya screwed up, and like, he's Declan Rice in that one game, I can't remember which one it was, saved Raya so many times. Like, someone else has screwed up further up the field, and then bam, like, Declan's there. He's like made a 60-yard sprint to come and like salvage the situation. So I feel like he hasn't been able to explore like his attacking capabilities hugely, because he's having to like defend for the whole team sometimes. And just all I can say is, like, thank God we've had him this season, because we would be in so much of a worse situation without him. And it's been a shame that he's kind of been playing in damage control for the majority of the time, when what we really needed was for him to come in and, like, with a couple of other players and like be the final level raiser, whereas instead he's been like putting out fires everywhere. When yet he really should have been the way to come in and raise the level. And again, that goes back to like our summer transfer business, where it seemed like we needed 2 or 3 players to raise the level, and instead it's just gone a bit wrong, which we'll get into later. Don't worry, I know you're all waiting for the Havertz review, okay? So hang on just a bit longer, we're nearly there. Oh, you're gonna make me go on another Havertz rant, I can tell. Oh, you're really gonna make me do it. But no, let me know what I'm interested to see what you guys think about Rice. So let's have a look. Oh, interesting here though on that injury point. Jack says, my PT reckons they don't do enough strength work in the gym to make their muscles more resilient. There's so many muscle injuries compared to sports like rugby, which doesn't make much sense. That's really interesting, and that does make sense, because rugby you've got like but then rugby is a bit more stop and start, to be fair. Like, you could maybe look at the way the games are played. There's a lot more waiting around in rugby, so I don't know whether that would like counteract that, but really good point. And you see that they're doing it much more nowadays. Like, the players are getting more muscular, but maybe not enough, as you say. Maybe they need to be doing more like flexibility work as well. Who knows? Like, it's definitely something that they need to have like a big review of, because like this is so bad, the amount of injuries we're getting. So right, let's see. I'm interested to see what you guys are saying on Declan Rice. So hello Fran, what's up Taib? Hey, hello Fran, good evening and long time no see. Good evening Taib, hopefully you'll be streaming often. Big up to you. Yes, I'm streaming daily from now on. I said that a week ago, and then someone in my family got really sick and it was just bad. Yeah, it was bad, but things are a bit more stable now, and the aim is to stream daily, so click the subscribe button. I look forward to seeing you on our more regular streams indeed. So thank you so much, Taib. So Phil saying, he used to play for the Wasps. Oh, cool. The Wimbledon Supporters Club, and used to go to the Plough Lane regularly to watch reserve games. Always had fringe players and first teamers coming back to fitness. Happy days. Those do sound like the good days. Like, that players are so much more like protected now from like the general public, you know. Like, I feel like it's so unlikely that you would like just go down the road to Aldershot or something and there would be some fringe Arsenal players or something like that. But maybe that happens and I just don't get out enough. Mohammed saying, we spent millions and millions in players signings. Why don't we spend money in managers? Great managers attract world-class players into our team. I hear that. I mean, you were saying bringing in Zidane and then Mbappe might want to come here. But I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right. I can't argue. I like your standards. Muller Rice, 8 out of 10. Don't disrespect him like that. He's not Muller Rice. He's Uncle Ben's Rice, you know? Up there. I don't really rate Muller Rice pudding. So Declan Rice, 9, has been a great signing. Yes, he suffered a dip in form, but I'm sure he'll come good if given time. He's had like 1 or 2 bad games. It's not even really been a dip in form, I reckon. Anthony saying, Rice, 8 for me. He's in a team that ain't playing well at the moment. Yeah, he's not being able to fully like spread his wings because he's just having to put out fires all over the place. Declan, 10 out of 10, but so much more to come. Truly an epic signing. And you're right, like, it is a shame that he's not being able to show fully like what he can do, because our team is struggling so much this season and like the attack is just not firing at all. So Rice, 5 out of 10. Oh, damn, that's harsh, Renee. It's your birthday and you're savage. I thought you'd be like happier, you know, it's your birthday tomorrow, but you're going hard on our players. Damn. Big up to you. Bend it like Declan Rice. Happy birthday, Declan. Is it his birthday today? Nice. Rice has had to do too much, says Colin, because the midfield balance isn't right, but he has been class. I totally agree. It feels like there's just Rice and then this huge gap between anyone else up front. And you're right, he's had to do too much. So, yeah. Static, savage as always, saying Rice above average, just the last few games he's been poor. Yeah, he's definitely like, not been as good the last couple of games. But then again, the whole squad has just been pretty rubbish the last few games. So, ugh. Eros saying if we can get a proper midfield around Declan Rice, this club can go far. Yeah, sometimes it just feels like Declan Rice is the midfield. As I say, thank God we have Declan Rice, you know. The midfield is just a mess at the moment. Unbelievable. Rancid Pumpkin saying, Rice 8.5 out of 10. His last games were poor, but apart from that, he's pretty awesome. Yeah. Rice, Fran, true. He scored 2 late winning goals too. You're so right. I forgot about that. Like, he's gone from carrying West Ham to carrying Arsenal. That is how much, like, how easily he's been able to make the step up. So, a sister called Pilau. Gosh, damn it. Gil saying, I feel that Declan felt more offensive at West Ham than defensive, more offensive at West Ham, than defensive and tight with us. We need to raise ourselves to his level because he's a future captain. Spot on. It's I want to be able to see him have a bit more freedom, but it feels like the responsibility for the entire defense, like he's the first line of defense whenever a team breaks on us, like he's expected to put out the fires, and way too much responsibility on him going that way. He must be so disappointed that he's come in and this is the way that the team has like made him play this season, when he probably hoped that he could come and join in with some of the champagne attacking football that we saw last season. My pitchfork is ready for 29. Trust me, mine is too static. Egg chasing, more of a muscle sport than skills. Our best midfielder so far for me. Hello, welcome to the chat, Comp 285V. Thank you very much for joining. I would have to agree with you. So, Mohammed saying I'm a League Gunner and Northside fan. Always great standard mentality. I agree. I am too. I love Northside the most. Like he cracks me up. Lee, I really agree with his football takes, but sometimes he can just be like a bit personal and like name calling towards other people, which I don't like so much. But I do agree with his standards. So yeah, Declan Rice. He's the third player besides Gabriel and Saliba in about 10 players that we've gone through who gets a very nice, which, as you'll know from watching this stream, is a highly sought after standard to achieve. So he gets above average. As I was saying, really impressed me. It's a shame that he's having to take on so much responsibility from the rest of the team, but he's being amazing. Let's just hope like the rest of the team actually steps up to his standard the second half of the season. He can actually start to enjoy his football a little bit more. He must come away from each game going like, they would be so screwed without me. It's nuts. So yeah, it's a very, very nice. Wow, Declan Rice. Fantastic. We love you, Declan. I'm so happy we have him. I still can't believe we have him. So yeah, very nice. Only the third player though, as we've mentioned, to get an above average score. Everyone else has been average or below average this season. And we wonder why the team isn't doing so well. Maybe that's why. So, Fran, Rice's birthday was 5 days ago. He's 25 now. He's younger than you. That's so depressing. Damn. Oh, they have no clue about football. Yeah. Harsh, very harsh. But they do have a clue about like keeping the club at standards, and that's mean rants of pumpkin. They do have a clue about football. Come on, right. So next, Thomas Partey. What can I say about him really? So Premier injuries on this site, it says thigh injury, perhaps back February. On January the 5th, Arteta said, hopefully it's weeks until he's fit again. How many weeks it will be will depend a little bit on how long the next step of training with the team will take him, but he's progressing well. So yeah, beginning of January, we were told weeks until he was back. I know he went out to Dubai with everyone. I don't know how much he managed to train out there. But we can't rely on Thomas Partey going forward. We just can't. As a few people have been saying, if Partey gets to play in the team, then that's a nice bonus. But there's no way that we can be so reliant on him as our team currently is at the moment. It feels like if Partey isn't around, then we just kind of have to like make do and somehow formulate a midfield. Like our midfield system can't be so reliant on one player being able to thread passes through the eye of a needle, In terms of how he plays, he's like got the passing. I don't know. He has so much responsibility with like feeding the ball from defense, like higher up the pitch. And it seems like when he's not there, then sometimes there can be a huge gap between defense and attack, because Declan Rice isn't like so good at that. But having said that, like Declan Rice's offensive passes, those stats and things are really underrated and are actually quite good. I don't have them with me right now. This is more of a relaxed chat. If I was going to do a stats review of each player, then that would be different. So Partey, but his rating for this season, like he hasn't been here. Let's see how many games he's actually played. So he's played 5 in all competitions. He just hasn't been here all season. So yeah, for me, his rating was no. Michael Scott, underwhelming again. Where are you guys at with Partey? Like, I'm fed up with it. Depressing for you. Rice is almost 30 years younger than me. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough, Phil. Age is just a number. I thought Fran was like 21. Yeah, I'm 26, man. Thanks, though. The haters were abusing him. You can't blame him for being personal. Yeah, I spoke to him about this, though, and I said, like, how can you expect, like, top Gooners or whatever to actually listen to your footballing opinions when, like, you call them names? And he was saying, like, but they've been abusing me for years, so, like, it's a difficult one. But, like, someone has to, like, be the bigger person and just, like, stop retaliating at the other half, you know. I don't know. I really respect him, and yeah. Very, very supportive guy, actually. Football aside, was really, really nice to me when I started my business, Lee Gunner. So but yeah, I don't agree with, like, all football opinions and stuff, so I don't know. There was a whole drama with that where on Twitter, so I'll go into that another time. But yeah, basically mention Lee Gunner's name on Twitter, and yeah, stuff will go down. That is not true. That is not true, I don't think. So Northside takes the misery out of supporting Arsenal, cracks me up on. Yeah, for real. Curtis also cracks me up, to be fair. Yeah, but Northside is funny. Phil said 0 out of 10 says Eros. Rancid Pumpkin says sell him next summer. What, like this summer coming up? Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just so fed up of us relying on him. Arteta's system is basically, without Partey, there is no midfield. Like, we need to have a system where you can drag and drop certain players in and it will still be functional. Like, it won't be so reliant on one player being fit and available for it to actually work. So Taib, that's not about Thomas Partey, but saying Arsenal should never have appointed to Arteta, it's been a nightmare. The overall trajectory has been upwards, but, like, this season really is make or break. It really is. Like, we cannot see us go backwards this season, because then I've had enough, really. Phil saying 2 out of 10 Partey. We've never seen the best of him for long enough. He was meant to be a statement signing. That statement is now sell, sell, sell. Yeah, it's just insane. It's just insane. I have no idea about those rumours, Renee. I would not know. I don't know. Majority of Arsenal YouTubers do have football knowledge, except the toxic fake positives. Oops, lol. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't just say, like, someone doesn't have football knowledge. Plus, like, football is not, like, I hate that it's like you either know football or you don't. Like, knowing about football is not like passing a bar exam in law. Like, even if you just watch football casually, like, you still know what you see, you know. Like, football's not like a yes or no answer. Like, it's not an exam that you have to take. Like, I know about football if I've watched a match and, like, have some thoughts on it, you know? Like, there's no definitive right or wrong, and I hate how, like, gatekeepy some people are about this. It's a game that all of us enjoy. Some of us know more about it. Some people like me barely know anything about, like, Arsenal that's not, like, the last 5 or 6 years, you know? But there's no, like, a gold standard of, like, you either know football or you don't, you know. Everyone should be able to talk about it, you know. It's just something we all love. I love to chat about it, even though I don't know the most. And, you know, it shouldn't just be like, oh, you don't know ball because you don't know, like, every single stat for this number 11, you know. That's the voice of, like, you don't know ball. Oh man, so sadly below average. I thought she was 21 too at first. Well, hopefully this is good. Hopefully it means when I'm like 60, 70, I'll be looking 30, 40, you know. For me, we need to get Jorginho, Elneny out before Partey. Yeah. I mean, I can say, though, at least Jorginho is available and fit. So, I mean, I can't even judge whether a player is better than another one if they're never even fit to play. Although we do know it's just a hard one. It's a hard one. You would never know she was 26. Thank you, guys. I'll be interested what rating you give Win. You know I love... let's hope Jess isn't here, because you guys know I love Win. Right, anyway, let's move on to the next one. I'm trying to get all your chats in, but then it means that my stream just grinds to a halt. So let's talk about Jorginho. Again, I couldn't quite believe we were signing this guy. If Jack is still in the chat, let us know how it feels for you guys to just be able to offload seemingly any player that you don't want to Arsenal. Will pay like over the odds. So he was bought in the same time as Trossard, who, by the way, I love, spoiler. And he was brought in with Kiwior and Jorginho. So my expectations were not very high for Jorginho, but the way I was kind of sold it was that he was going to be a player that could come in when you need to hold on to a lead and he'll just keep the ball and recycle the ball a little bit and whatever. That was all going to plan until, which game was it we played? It was the North London Derby. I think it was the North London Derby, where he completely screwed us over in midfield and lost the ball, and then we ended up conceding like this ridiculous goal. You guys will remember the moment. I got really annoyed with him and I gave him a 0 out of 10 in player ratings. And elephants do not forget. I can bear a grudge. So I'm still a little bit annoyed with Jorginho. But having said that, in the last game that we saw him play, it was actually refreshing to see him come back, which kind of says how far our midfield has sunk. That seeing Jorginho come back in to play with Rice was nice and stable, and I liked it. It was comforting, like a warm mug of hot chocolate. So maybe he's just that midfield player for me. A warm mug of hot chocolate. Won't do anything exceptional, but we'll kind of, I don't even know. We'll kind of like hit the spot. So let's see what rating, what do you guys think? So Jorginho 6 out of 10, okay-ish. Renee, damn, saying -5 out of 10. Jorginho's a 4 for me, not great, but played more games the party. As they say, availability is the best ability. Eva saying Jorginho 2 out of 10. Please, Arsenal, don't extend his contract. I hear that. They're talking about this now, adding another year to his contract. And I just think for me that's settling at something which is not a good enough standard to win the league. I think, would he start for City? No. Would he start for Liverpool? No. I think he's not exciting enough. He's just not a player where you look at it and go, oh, Jorginho's in the midfield. Like, we've got to watch out for Arsenal today. Yeah, as Jez says, Jorginho, 3 out of 10, not the levels we need. Agree with that. Rancid Pumpkin saying Jorginho 6.5 out of 10. He's doing what he's supposed to do. I'll give it that. He is kind of brought on to like command and lead like the pitch in terms of like telling people where to go and what to be. Like, he's quite defensively minded, like a good kind of second captain on the pitch, if you know what I mean. But personally for me, he's just not really good enough, not outstanding at anything, not going to throw fear into the heart of the opposition. But he does do what he's supposed to do, which is keep hold of the ball and keep things ticking over, which is good. Say if you're 2 or 3-0 up and you need to hold on to a lead, but perhaps not so good to be like starting at Anfield or at the Etihad with, you know? So a good second or third choice midfielder, but he shouldn't be, you know, our starting midfielder, which is kind of the situation right now, if you know what I mean. So love the warm hot chocolate comparison. It's true though. That is it. That is it. Fran, that you don't know ball. Yeah. It's just the voice that I read when people on it's like the Twitter voice. Remember that moment? I'll never forget it. In the Chelsea history does not help the memory fade. Yeah, that was when we played against Chelsea. Was that? I don't know. I can't remember which game it was, but like he completely just let down the whole team and we conceded because of him. And it was such like an embarrassing goal this season. I can't remember which match it was. I'd have to like look back through all my match notes. But yeah, Jorginho awful, below average. Yep. This is my request. Could you remove the Arteta picture in your back cupboard? He's a fraud. He isn't a legend. He's done nothing to Arsenal Football Club. I hear that. I do hear that, but it is one of my favourite drawings. So, yeah, I can replace it at some point. But for now, it can stay there for now. But I understand. Just look away. Just cover that part of your phone screen. Availability is not the best ability. I know, but it rings off the tongue nicely, right? Yeah. The only way I can describe Jorginho, guys, we're hearing it from a Chelsea fan, is like the cocks on the boat in a boat race. Oh no. Shouts at everyone else without actually contributing anything. Damn. In fact, just weighing the boat down, barely helpful. I completely see where you're coming from, Jack. I completely see where you're coming from, and that hurts me. Jack, I hope you're still here when we get to number 29. Havertz, please, like, Please tell us. Okay, 2.5 out of 10 saying comp 285. Gil saying Jorginho is a Champions League winner. Does he feel that here? Don't think so. 33 likes, by the way, but don't look, lol. Yeah, I'm not gonna look. Thank you though for letting me know. I can't look at how many people are watching and stuff because then I just get all nervous. But are Arsenal going to bottle job the Prem title? I'll save that question for later. Right. Mohammed Shah saying, well said. Yeah, Static saying he's no longer the savage one. Mohammed's taken over. He's come in and just like thrown a bowling ball in the chat. We beat City with Jorginho in the starting 11. He can't be that bad. Exactly. He's the warm hot chocolate, nothing exceptional, but comforting and will do the job. However, Jack seems to think that he will in fact sink the boat. So I don't know. The way I put it was meh, okay. Some of you seem to think underwhelming, but I think he's not been too bad, you know. These Arteta haters, I don't get them. Indeed, I understand. I do understand. I'm not going to take down my painting because you don't like Arteta, you know. I just think the whole, like, guys, we all need to get on, you know. It's very peace and love, but some people really don't like the manager. Some people do. I think the real problem is when either side, like, properly goes at the other one. It's fine, like, you sitting here, but don't attack the other ones for not agreeing, you know. It's fine for us all to have different opinions, you know. Jagan. I'm not sure how to say your name, but what's up? I recognize your profile picture. What's up? Happy Friday. Guns and yellow ribbons, Fergus. Yes, what do you think about Jorginho? There's a mixed response here. I think he's been all right this season. A few people are really underwhelmed. Everyone follow Guns and Yellow Ribbons if you have not. One of the longest running, most awesome, credible Arsenal podcasts out there. So Jorginho does a job. He helped Rice, but tired later in the game. That's the thing. I think he's perfect to come on, perhaps maybe not starting, but they looked good in that last game. But perhaps when we're leading a game and we need to see it out, he can dictate the pace of the game, whatever. But he's definitely not good enough to be first choice midfield for Arsenal at this stage in our progression, in my opinion. So for me, it's a meh, okay. So next up, Mo Elneny. We've barely seen much of him this season. In fact, I've got on my screen here the number of appearances that he's had. He's played once in all competitions. So there's not much we can really say about Mo Elneny, except I know that Arteta likes him. He used to play with him. He's a really good player for helping things like squad harmony and unison behind the scenes. So when there's a new player that comes in and they don't know anyone, apparently Mo Elneny is always the guy that will be there and laughing and joking with you. He's really friendly, and people like that are really important, to be fair, to help new players come and settle in and get to know people. Like having an older, like friendlier face. He's that guy. But my take is that could that be like a coaching role in the future? Do we need to actually have him in the team at all? I don't know. Like, I understand the need for someone like that, but if they never play, if they never kick a ball once, like, what is the point in them being here and taking up like salary? You know, I feel like he's there because Arteta likes him. He's Arteta's friend, not because he actually like raises the level of the team. So I think move if he's not ready to retire, then sell him to like someone else, try and get a bit of money, and then bring him back to be part of the coaching squad, you know, the residential team at Arsenal further down the line. I think that's a fantastic thing that he brings, and it's great to like help players stay happy, you know, but you're not adding anything to the team. Static, stop it. These Arteta lovers, I don't get them, lol. See, this is the problem, guys. I'm kidding. So Arteta rebuilt the squad. We're now title contenders. Yeah, that's the thing. And I think you can also be in a grey area. You can say, like, these are the things that I recognise that Arteta's done really well, and these are the things I don't think he's doing very well at all. You don't have to be so like, I'm in or I'm out. But I respect anyone who is, you know? Match-going fans are behind the manager. People question him, but we support him. Remember, it's only January. Yeah, completely. Match-going fans are totally behind him, and I just hope that these players have not like we will talk about it, whatever, but I hope the players don't get involved in all this like social media discourse and stuff, because like hopefully they know that they're a member of like one of the most like overactive fan bases online, and if they like research their name, then it will just be chaos. There'll be like warring factions arguing every single tiny like discussion point about them and their lives, and it's just best to avoid it, but we can still have fun talking about the team. Oh, I had the name Crispy before, says Jagan. That's probably why. Yes, I know you. I know you. Hey, what's up? I like your new name. Rancid Pumpkin saying title contenders means nothing if you don't win it. I agree with that. Elneny, great behind the scenes, is excellent. Yeah, never going to be a starter, proper good individual. Yeah, that's what I've heard, that he is like a blooming great bloke. But in terms of us needing to win the title, win silverware, things like that, like get better as a team, he's not doing that. We need to be like these players that are falling like below the like the level of the club, sell them and bring in some above that, so that we keep raising like the levels of the team so that we can win things, which is regardless of where you sit on the players or Arteta, we all want to win things for Arsenal, don't we? Right. So regardless of your stance, like discuss why you believe that, why this person believes that, and hopefully you'll come to like ideas of how we can win silverware, which is what we need. So so next up, so what I've said for Meh, okay, average, he's only played once, but I think we all agree that Elneny has like, it's time to go. It's time to go with no hard feelings whatsoever. It's just like we don't need you in the team and like with the squad and where it's going, where we're hoping to go. Like you're not quite like the levels that we need. So I love you, man. You're a bloody great guy, but see you later. Right. So Martin Odegaard, this should be an interesting one. So last season was up. How many goals did he get last season? Let's see. Either way, he was a very, very good scorer for us last season. Let me just double check. 15 Premier League goals last season, guys. One of the best players last season. However, we would criticise perhaps him going missing, Odegaard, if you will, in like the larger games, the more physical games. And going into this season, what I was hoping for is him to play more of the same really technical, like linking up kind of football, continue with the goal scoring numbers, and perhaps show a bit more like strength and body and fight, like in the more physical games or the bigger games where, you know, it's Anfield, the lights are on, and a bit more leadership, things like that. Basically to see him continue in his trajectory, and improve on the areas where I thought he was a bit weaker. So, for example, the really big games, and like the really physical games. And I don't know if I've really seen that kind of improvement from last season. I would say he's performed about the same, if not a little bit worse than last season. I'd be interested to see what you guys think. So, yeah, I just don't think he's really pushed on since last season. I know that he doesn't have Xhaka next to him and Partey behind him. So I feel like he's I don't know. Again, it feels like he's being asked to do quite a lot because he's not got the same like midfield strength around him. I don't feel like him and Declan Rice like have super connected yet, and Havertz like barely at all either. So I feel like he's being asked to connect, like bring together the whole of the defense and the attack without much help. So he hasn't really like excelled this season. I'd be interested to see what you all think. Fran, except for you, you're joining the light side. Lol. I'm not on any particular side right now. I have yet to be decided. And then I don't have to be on either side. Jagan saying it's time to go. Elneny seems friendly but surplus to requirements. Exactly, I agree with that. Static, facts, mate. Clueless clowns who accept failure. No name calling. Come on. I'm kidding, Jez. Like, I would never tell you what to do. I love you. Phil said, I thought we had a pet dog to keep the players happy. We do, and I love her. Okay. Come on, rebuild the squad. Look at our bench. It's absolutely awful. Yeah, it's really bad. Bro, you have to go step by step, says Rancid Pumpkin. When we get onto the Arteta question, like, the chat just goes. I can't even... Of course, we want to win titles, but this doesn't happen overnight. I really do agree with you, Rancid Pumpkin. It's just like I guess the argument from the other side is like, how long should it take? Like, it's taking too long, and it's a whole other discussion, honestly. Guns and Yellow Ribbons says, I'd love to see a debate actually between Jez and Fergus. I think that would be really interesting. I can assure you, not all of us fans that go to the grounds want him, and that's fair. That's fair. I don't know about this kid anymore. Yeah, blah blah blah. Hey Jez, says Static, it's great to see you. Unfortunately, they never learn. Year in, year out. I don't like this whole like they and us thing. You know, like we all want Arsenal to win. There's no them and us. I don't like leading that division even more, you know. But I get what you're saying. 4 years we've had to put up with this. The P word is your iconic word for Arteta. I know the one. Do I have to explain every player and its role to you? You guys, come on. Just like be civil, you know. I like this channel because everyone has different views and stuff. It's all good. So, Elneny, Fran, can I say NA? Yeah, NA would apply. On my way to do a night shift at work, Fran, just wanted to pop in and say hello. Oh my gosh, like well done you. You're doing a night shift. I don't know how you stay awake, but big up. I hope it's not too tiring on a Friday night as well. Best of luck at your night shift. Like, get it, make that bread. You're working hard. Well done you. And yeah, go get it. Go get it. So Comp says Elneny 4 out of 10. Static says, Jez says they're sad people who don't have a clue. Yes, he is a P word. Herb Garden 7.5 out of 10. Comp says 5 out of 10. Rene says 10 out of 10. Fair enough. Phil, you reckon he's not scoring the same numbers because of our change in style? Still love him. 4 by his standards. Okay, so you also think he's dropped off. Jez saying Odegaard 5 out of 10. Very fair, very fair. He's phenomenal. He is phenomenal technically, but he has been hot and cold. Phil reckons it's because of the change in style. Don't know if he's better than Maddison. Now that's a question. That's a discussion I don't know if I'm ready to have. Mohammed saying, just carrying on with the Arteta talk. I'll skip that for now and talk about Odegaard for a sec. But you guys keep chatting by all means. Like, just enjoy this space. Gil says he's too weak, falls down too easy, not a captain, and the team huddles just aren't working because no one's listening. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Odegaard is shocking, below average. Rancid Pumpkin says he's world class. He's had a few games, but these were he's had a few bad games, but these were whilst having an injury. Really mixed opinions, really mixed opinions. Kind of Comp saying that he's not so much of a great leader. Eros says 4 out of 10. He pulls out of 50-50 challenges, never takes his shots on goal first time. That is so annoying. You're so right about that. When having space, always looking for that extra touch, for that perfect goal when it's not necessary. Havertz is exactly the same as well. I don't know why. Odegaard's definitely a member of the death by 1,000 passes gang. And recently in the last couple of games, I have seen it a bit more, but don't you miss those times, those 30-yarders that he would just smack into the back of the net out of nowhere, like first time touch most of the time last season? I want to see that a bit more. I'm really hoping that we're seeing a bit more of that goal scoring instinct and hunger when they come back in the second half of the season. So Fran, that's how Wenger was pushed out. Enough of this from Arteta now. Yeah, I hear that. I'm just not quite like right there yet. I want to see where we finish at the end of this season. Then I'm completely on board with it. If we have gone backwards, arguably though, we're already out the domestics, so it's kind of on a knife edge for me. We're a single fan base at the end of the day, brother and sisters in arms. I hear that. Big up. I really agree with that. We can have like friendly arguments, you know, like a family. You guys are clearly watching another sport than me. Oh God. Yeah, Eros says it's really annoying. Just shoot the damn ball first time. Agree. So the rating I gave him was meh. Okay. So yeah, average. For me, not pushed on. He's about the same as he was last season, if not a little bit worse, whether that's through to a change in tactics, change in formation, I don't know. But he's not pushed on the amount that I would really like to see. So goals, So he's had 22 appearances, 7 goals in all comps, which is actually pretty good, to be fair. I think that's second highest in all comps after Bukayo Saka. So he's still doing his thing, doing his best in the circumstances, but not, not really getting there. But this comment made me laugh. Ira said, "Poor Fran, such a sweet girl who's in the middle of all the drama." I agree with that. I'm just a little sweet girl. I don't know. I don't know what to say. You guys just keep going, you know. I love that. Posh Bertie saying, "Hi, Fran. What's up, Posh Bertie? Everyone check out Gooner Gathering's video." Posh Bertie, yeah, it was so funny, talking about why Benzema wouldn't work. But yeah, oh my gosh, it's 6 o'clock already. I've got to get my friend at 6:45, so let's power on. So next up, Fabio Vieira. Fabio, again, he's been injured most of the season. Let's see how many times we've actually seen him. At the moment, he's got a groin or hip or pelvic injury. Groin. January the 5th, it said he's doing well again, but it was a surgery that required 2 different things. So he's had surgery. He's still a bit far from where we want him, but he needs to keep working. Hopefully in the next few weeks, we can have him back. The fact that that doesn't really fill me with like huge amounts of joy, like, oh my God, relief, Fabio's going to be back, kind of shows just how kind of meh I think this player is. He's only played 4, he's had 4 appearances in all comps this season, I'm pretty sure. I think I'm reading that website right, but yeah, teabag. He looks better with the beard. I think his beard looks better this season, so that's a good thing, I suppose. But I was really hoping to see a bit more of him this season. I think he had 1 or 2 big games, then he's got injured again. We haven't really seen him like motor on from this like potentially really good techie attacking player. It's still in that kind of category of like potentially he could be really good, but he's been here for like 2 or 3 years now, and it's just like not good enough yet. And with all the injuries and stuff, it's not quite the standard for me. I do think he's got the potential, but then it's like if he's always injured and never getting game time, like how long are we going to have to wait around to see this supposed potential and see him like butterfly out of his cocoon? I don't know. So his role is kind of the Odegaard role. It would have been really nice to have him available, because Odegaard has had these dips in form and then had no one really, like, has never, again, like when our first 11 players are out of form, we never see rotation because the drop off is too high. But then it's a chicken and egg thing, because the drop off is so high and he doesn't rotate, then it continues to be a big drop off because these players don't get match fit. So I don't know, he's kind of stuck in that boat where he's not getting the opportunity or the minutes or the consistent game time to really reach that level. So he's kind of just never quite there, and that's injuries. It's not like getting the rotation. So for me, it's a meh. I believe it's an average, underwhelming. I haven't really got a chance to see him much this season, which is a real shame. And when I do see him, I still don't think he's at the levels. So yeah. Just having a look at some of your things. You're still going on with your, I can't get involved in the Arteta argument. Haters disrespecting people. Okay, mate. Guys, you're all welcome here. That's all I can say. Like, just be civil to each other, which I know you are. This is a lovely channel. You guys are all really nice. So, Fran, I hear blah, 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 blah. I hate it too. Remember our talk about the fan base needs to coexist. It must happen now. This is, yeah, I think a real problem is that people who are Arteta out get so many nasty messages and things from like top Gooners, and like, that's not okay. Even like you guys who do believe like Arteta and stuff seem to think like you're better fans because you're not like these toxic negative guys, whereas everyone just wants the same thing for Arsenal, and you can't be sending nasty messages or abuse to anyone because of their opinion on a certain football manager. It's not okay. Right, Fabio V is okay, just unfortunately underwhelming, 4 out of 10. Jagan saying I genuinely forget about him sometimes, sad but true. Yeah, I hear that. He is a ghost. We rarely see him, have no idea if he's even a bench warmer. Yeah, 100%. Thank you. Yeah, it's YouTube, mate. It is YouTube, mate. I love it. The fan base is split between what's expected from a top club like Arsenal to what's accepted, so we'll never agree. yeah, if you really believe Arteta is the man to achieve it, Jez personally doesn't. We will see this season. That's where I'm at. We will see by the end of this season. So we will just have to wait and see. Right, so next player, Emile Smith-Rowe. This one is, yeah. So Emile Smith-Rowe, the man up there on my wall, on the back of my jumper. I love this guy so much. And last season, he was really like stunted by injury. And I think for me, what's been so disappointing is that he's been coming back to fitness and has been fit, but still, I think it's been so unfair for him not to. I think he's been so harshly treated. For him not to like get the like chance to get his spot back in the squad like a bit more quickly with a bit more minutes, a bit more game time. I think sometimes Arteta is just like harsh for the sake of like making a point and like to prove that I'm a hard manager and oh, he's like one of the fans' favorites, but it doesn't matter because I'm in charge. Like he's only going to play when I say he can. I feel like he just makes these points sometimes when it's not really necessary. I don't know. It just feels like but behind the scenes, like ESR might just not be good enough to start. But I feel like he's been so unfairly treated. And I was hoping that this season, I wasn't expecting ESR to come back in and be the ESR of like 2-3 years ago, where it's Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, like at least 10 goals a season. Like, but I feel like he's just not. It's been said so many times. I feel like he's just not had the chance, and it's even more like offensive to me when he comes on for 2 or 3 minutes. Like with this is a very similar discussion to like what I'll have about Trossard as well. Just having such minimal opportunity to make a chance, and then it's almost as if so that Arteta can say, well, I gave him the minutes and well, he didn't achieve it, he didn't impress me, so I'm right in not letting him play. Whereas in fact, like you're just cutting your nose off to spite your face. It would be so much better for you, Arteta, if these players like Trossard and ESR were more integrated, did get more minutes, did get more rotation. Rotation is such a huge like sticking point for me with Arteta. It only hurts you in the end, Arteta, not rotating these players, because when you need to rely on them, they won't be match fit. So his role, is he a winger? I think he'd be great in the left 8, or even up front. He's just so good when he does come on, and like so creative. He knows how to make things happen. He's really good at passing. He's really good at scoring goals. I think the only reason I can see that he wouldn't be allowed to come back in would be because he's not like match sharp, not match fit. But how are you going to get him match sharp and match fit without giving him minutes? I mean, maybe this is what we're talking about, how players like him need to go and play for the reserves or like the under-21s midweek. That could be a really good way of like getting them up to scratch. But at the end of the day, I don't get what is the point in like isolating all these players, because then you can't use them when you need them. I just think it's so unfair the way ESR has been treated. Yeah, I know it's football and it's like harsh and like merit-based game, and it's all like the manager's choice. But you're not even giving him a chance, you know. So how many times have we actually seen him play this season? Let me have a look. Emile Smith-Rowe, he's had, I believe, 3. I don't know if I'm even reading this website right. He must have had more than 3. Maybe it's 9. I don't know. Either way, it's very, very few appearances. And I just don't think it's fair. How are you going to get these players up the level if you don't give them the minutes? They're not just suddenly going to become match fit. So let's see. Yeah, I agree, Static. It's never okay to send abuse to anyone. So if you'll excuse me, guys, I have to stick to the comments. I love that. Like, keep chatting though. I'm going to go back and read your discussion about Arteta, but I'm going to have to read the ESR comments, or else I'll never finish the show. We'll do another show about Arteta. How about that? ESR 1 out of 10 never gets a chance. ESR 3 out of 10. He can't stay fit. Sell him. That's a very strict take from you. I thought you'd be like more like kind of, I don't know. ESR is a fantastic player and deserves so much better than how Arteta has treated him the past 2 seasons. I completely agree, Posh Bertie. Jagan saying I need him to start. I need him to start as well. You need to give him some starts, like give him a chance. He's given him 1 or 2 starts, and then he's not been like utterly outrageous and out of this world. Perhaps mad notion Arteta, but he might need a couple of games to get going. And what rubs me up the wrong way is that he doesn't give Arteta ESR the starts to play himself back into form, but he gives players like Eddie and Havertz so many chances and starts and minutes to play themselves into form. I feel like because that suits the point he's trying to prove, and ESR playing really well doesn't. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I worry whether Arteta is making decisions like to prove people right over like what would actually be best for the season. I don't know. That's probably like super unfair to say, but ESR saying definitely NA. ESR love him, but he just doesn't play. No one really knows. He's a 7 at least whenever we see him. ESR 1 out of 10, never gets a go. ESR, I've not seen enough at all from him this season. Arteta is a disgracia. Yeah. We love him. Arteta doesn't. He's killing his career and needs to leave for his own sake. Yeah, I'd be putting in a transfer request if I was him. 5 out of 10. Give us ESR in January. We make ESR the next Maddison. Exactly. There's so much wasted potential there. I know that he could go to another club and absolutely kill it. Imagine him at Liverpool. He would be so good. City don't even start. Like, he could be as good as Grealish, I reckon. Maybe more like a Foden. He's a bit more like a Foden, I think. He's got the potential to be right up there. And well, like the way that he's not being used right now is really killing his career, like you're saying. So I think you're talking about Mourinho here, saying Rancid Pumpkin doesn't fancy seeing Arsenal parking the bus. His time is over. Yeah, lots of people are saying that, to be fair. Mourinho creates hate wherever he goes and just loves the huge payoffs. Yeah, Jez agrees there. I see it. Hey, TJ's here. Big up the chat. ESR 4 out of 10. Good effort during his chances. Just hasn't had enough time. Yeah, it's so unfair. I think I've judged him as meh, average, not applicable, NA. Guys, do subscribe to TJ Warren if you haven't. Like, he's absolutely the best out there. So underrated. And before long, you're going to be at 10K. He's just amazing. Like, such a natural at this stuff. Jagan saying Crystal Palace should be a great opportunity for ESR, but do you think he'll even play? I don't. So yeah, it's not fair. Oh, here we are. The moment I didn't want to get to, the moment you've probably all been waiting for, the moment I don't want to get to. I've had enough. Like, I've gone on so many tangents about this guy and so many rants. But look, let's start at the beginning to fully like analyze. Oh, it's been so difficult. It's just been so difficult with Kai. Like, so my objective is to look at how he's performed the first half of this season for Arsenal. And it's really hard because there's so much context around it. So let's start with the context. The context is Granit Xhaka has his best season ever in an Arsenal shirt. He's an amazing attacking midfielder, super physical, like not having to defend as much and making so many chances, late runs into the box, scoring goals, amazing. It seemed so simple as a fan. This is what kills me. So it seemed so simple at the end of last season. Like, all you need to do is find someone, a box-to-box midfielder that does a similar thing to what Xhaka is offering us at the moment. Shouldn't be too hard to find. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to try and do anything clever. Just get a nice box-to-box midfielder. I'm sure you all had suggestions. Someone who could score a few goals, defend a bit, link up in attack, lovely jubbly. Someone who maybe, I don't know, is in form, can just drag and drop and continue what Granit Xhaka was doing. Because I don't think it was a hugely specialist role that Xhaka's doing. It's pretty much a basic box-to-box midfielder role. Instead, I think it was a joke when it was announced. I thought, you can't be serious. This is just another one of those transfer rumours. And then within a couple of days, 65 million, and we've got Kai Havertz. And oh my God, at the time, like, Chelsea fans were rubbing it in our faces, like they were laughing. They couldn't believe it either. They thought it was April Fool's Day. We all did. But no, like, sure as I can see my hands in front of me, Kai Havertz is now wearing a red Arsenal shirt. His introduction video is leaked early, and it's just him in like a Hawaiian shirt, like smiling at the camera. And look, before I get into any of this, like my disclaimer says at the beginning of the show, I have nothing personal against any of these players. I'm sure they're all really lovely people. Kai Havertz especially, I hear he does a lot of great work for donkey sanctuaries. And I love donkeys. So look, I've got nothing against the guy in particular, but we will be talking about how he's come in as a footballer, not as a person, and impacted the team, be it for good or for worse. So I think for me, he was already... So what I was just expecting is someone to come in the left 8 position and just keep doing what we were doing. It didn't need to be too complicated. I'm seeing some of these comments already. I'm going to get there. It didn't need to be too difficult. That's all I'm saying. And instead, Kai Havertz is announced, and it just seems like the most stupid signing, if you know what I mean. Because all he needs to do is get someone that's like in form, is fit, like knows what they're doing, hopefully has some Prem experience, but is going to hit the ground running, get going. Instead, he brings in a player who has been shocking basically for 3 years at Chelsea. Every single match review I've listened to from Chelsea fans, which I do enjoy doing for the last 3 years. Jack, I need you to tell me, like, what are your thoughts on Havertz? Like, please tell me what your experience was having him, because I think we're going through exactly what you guys went through. And I don't know why there's any surprise in that. But basically, it was so... why did he think that he could bring someone in who's been so out of form for 3 years, is missing, like, all I've heard after every single game is like how much the fans like are so frustrated with this player. Like, he misses so many chances, he disappears in games, like he doesn't do enough, he doesn't impact enough, like they just don't see the point in him in their team. That's what the Chelsea fans have been saying for like 3 years. They want him out of their club. They're so fed up with him. He was like a joke at this point in the club. And so Arteta decides, we're going to get this player who's really bang out of form, and I'm going to find that Bayer Leverkusen form back and like show everyone how clever we are, like bring Kai Havertz back, because like, don't get me wrong, when he played in Germany, he was really, really good. But I just think what's so annoying about that is like getting the project player in to maybe or maybe not be able to bring back to a long lost form when you so easily could have got someone that was already in form and you knew would do the job. I think that's what's so frustrating about this player. And if he was a player a bit like your Fabio Vieiras or Kiwior, who's like young, not really heard of, and perhaps cost us 25, 30 mil, I would still be like frustrated. Like, okay, that's not good enough. We need to be getting like a top class player in this really vital position. Instead, it's a player that we've seen in the Prem for 3 years. We paid 65 million for and is still performing like that. So if it was a young player that we didn't really know and he was putting in the performances that Kai Havertz has done all season, I would be okay with it. I'd be like, oh, you know, he's got potential maybe, like I can, like it's still not a good enough signing, but I can see what he's doing. He's a young player. I might have a bit more patience for it, but it's the fact that it was a 65 million signing and this is an established player in the Premier League. And also, like, what did you expect? That's my main question to Arteta, if he's looking back and going, oh, woe is me. Like, I really screwed up with this left 8 decision, perhaps. I hope he is looking at that and thinking that, because why didn't you just get a player that was ready to go and could play a left 8 position? I just cannot. So really just, yeah. So how has his first half of the season been? I think the first 2 months just went exactly, and I was so frustrated because I was like, how did you expect this to go? Like, we were basically seeing exactly the same Kai Havertz that we had seen at Chelsea, and I don't know why they thought there would be anything different, because it's like, what did you expect? And so yeah, it was a low confidence Kai, barely getting involved in games. What was worse than, like, it wasn't really him making stinkers, I just couldn't see what he was doing at all. And there's this huge left 8 shaped hole because Kai Havertz is just not used to playing in that position at all. But then who knows what position, which is another problem with him that he is best at. I don't know. And we've seen like real gradual improvement. He has had a couple of good games, but how many goals? So he's made 22 appearances, which is the same as Martin Odegaard, 3 less than Saka. William Saliba's got the most with 28 games. So he's basically started almost every game. But then the fact that he started to bench Havertz kind of shows that Arteta's conceded, like, oh, this isn't working as quickly as I hoped it would. But then it's like, why did you hope it would? Because that's just the form he's been in for 3 years. So he scored 5 goals in all competitions. He's also got 6 yellow cards, which is the most that anyone's got in our team. But I think what upsets me the most is kind of like what we got for what we could have got for that kind of money. Can you imagine how much better Maddison would have been there, for example, or like Kudus or Schlobberschlei? You guys laugh when I say that word, but I think it was just such a dumb, like, arrogant move to get this player when you so didn't need to. Like, it was so simple to just like improve our squad from last season. At least in my head, it was just you get a box to box, maybe get another couple, like another attacker, like maybe a winger, and then some defensive backup, and you just carry on how we did last season, more of the same, please, with a little bit more solid defense, which was just bringing in Rice. Like, well done, you've ticked that box off. But you just completely like took this mad gamble in the left 8 position for absolutely no reason, and I just get so frustrated. And he's basically performed exactly as I would have expected. I've seen a few like signs of life. I said I wasn't going to be savage, and like I like the guy as a person, but I'm being like, for me, I'm being quite savage. I've seen a few signs of life later on, but like it's just so dumb. Like, so I left it as like meh, okay, because he's actually like done a bit, like he's kind of improved a little bit, but then so slowly, and like it's not even on him, to be fair. Like it's the decision to bring him in is so arrogant, and like it's so dumb. So I want to see what you guys have to say. So I just got on it. Some of these comments already. Okay, right, it's chat time. So Jack, who is a Chelsea fan, said, I liked Havertz at Chelsea. However, in 3 years, he only played great a handful of times. Yep. Then his drop-off was huge, showed no consistency, and is disappointing because he can be classed, but he had to go. Yeah, so Chelsea were ready to get rid of him. I bet you didn't think that you'd sell him for 65 mil. Main event time. You know it, Birdie. Mr. 29. 3 out of 10. Had a purple patch. Otherwise, he'd be 1 out of 10. Yeah, I hear that, TJ. 9 out of 10. He makes great runs. Genuinely 5. He's a waste of money, but he hasn't been horrendous. Yeah, I think that's about right. Like, that's where I sit, to be fair. Renee says minus 10 out of 10. God. Havertz, 10 out of 10, Jez. Yes! The best midfielder in the world. Phil saying, certainly will be, Jez. Still to be seen if we can go as close or closer than last season, or whether Arteta's tinkering. Arteta is like the main tinkering. I mean, Havertz is the main tinkering. Well, it just was not needed. It just was not needed. Like if you'd have asked me 6 months ago, like, how do you think it will be? I would have said, like, he'll come in, he'll be really underwhelming, but might kind of get a little bit better in time. And that's just exactly what's happened. Like, why? Why? We should have got someone else, but hey ho, nothing we can do now. Your little sad face at the end says all of it. It's just, for me, it's just so frustrating, like, that we just could have improved that little bit and from last season and gone on to just like win the title, but instead, like, this dumb change of style to be more slow, a death by 1,000 passes, bringing in Havertz rather than someone who you knew could get started right away, just like dumb things that didn't need to happen. I think all of this was overthought. Liar Havertz. That's trademarked by Jez, by the way. Posh Bertie says 10 out of 10. He makes us win on field tilt. Big up. And so many XG flick-ons and layoffs. Wait, let me do my Twitter voice. 10 out of 10. He makes us win on field tilt and does so many XG flick-ons and layoffs. And that's what makes him one for the purists. That voice hurt my own head. Havertz 0, get out of Arsenal, says Static. Eros says, can't wait to see Rancid Pumpkins rating. Now. Kai, oh my god, it makes the Raya signing look epic. For real, honestly. Havertz, 10 out of 10 on field tilt. Phil Macker, facts Phil. Rancid Pumpkin says, Kai Havertz, 7 out of 10. He struggled at the beginning, but he's good. It's not his fault people don't get his role. And he plays a different role than Xhaka. Havertz is supposed to switch positions with Jesus. Yeah, I get it, but it's just like, how long would it take to implement this? I just think like there was no need to switch up that role. And I get that it's a different style role, a different style player, but it was working so well that the way it was. So why not just bring in a like for like? That's kind of my bone to pick with it. Even Jack, the Chelsea fan, says getting 60 million for him was hilarious, to be fair. I'm glad it made your day. He is a donkey, lol. That's very rude, but he has to be better at finishing. Yeah, none of our players can finish right now. Have we now cemented up the tunnel of shit from Chelsea? I really hope so. I mean, it's just flowing down there like a sewage pipe. Let's hope that they've blocked off that waterway, shall we? Hi, mate. TJ. That gang is here. Jagan says, what were they cooking when they decided this transfer is baffling? Kudus was available, damn it. Exactly. When I look at the other options that were available, it was just so... I hear you. I feel it. Why did Mikel sign this snake? Good evening, Fran. Hello, everyone in the chat. Gooner Gathering, what's your like half-season rating for Havertz? I'd be interested to know. Yeah, there's so many Havertz comments. I love this chat. Like, as much as it annoys me, I just can't get enough of like Havertz chat. I just it just makes me laugh. It's such a dumb decision. Yeah. To be fair, Fran, we could be here all night talking about Kai, but you've got a movie to watch. I know. I need to go and collect my friend in like 15 minutes. So here we go. All right, Mohammed, you're ready, huh? Here we go. The German giraffe, Mr. 29, signed to Arsenal Football Club. The worst signing in Arsenal's entire career. Damn. I think like he's not the worst player we've ever had, but I think what makes it such a bad signing for me is like the context and how basically the other players that were available that were so ready to go and would play well, like would be in form, would know how to play the box to box. And I think it's such a bad signing because it's such an unnecessary risk. Like, you know, that makes a lot of sense to me. But yeah, Eros says waste of money. Come on, everyone at Chelsea sucks. Harsh. Just feels like there's a clause in Edu's contract that we must sign a Chelsea cast off every season. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I need to see Edu's contract, man. Fran, you saying NA now? Copycat. I'm kidding. You probably said that about 29, lol. Yeah, no, I've copyright. Like I've stealed your NA. Like, to be fair, you can play ESR instead of Kai. Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Like, I think every single Arsenal fan would love that. But because you spent 65 million on Kai, now it's like he has to prove that he can get him to play in form so he doesn't look silly. But like, yeah, why the hell did they get Kai Havertz? Wouldn't surprise me if we sign Cucurella next season. Our fans will blindly hype him up. Go on. Honestly, it just feels like sometimes they can sign anyone or anything. And like, because our fan base, like, bless them, is so loyal and like, we just want our team to do so well and we're so passionate, then like we just make excuses for them and it's all in good faith, but like, it lets the club get away with it. And sometimes we just need to be like, no, that's not good enough. Like, get us something better. Come on. Jaws, lol. Yeah, he does look a bit like Jaws. Lesson for Arteta on signing Kai. You can't improve just anyone because you're a genius coach. Like, it's almost like Arteta has like a small coach syndrome. like you have small dog syndrome and like small man syndrome. Like he has like new coach syndrome. So he does unnecessary risks and unnecessary like galaxy brain stuff, like signing Kai and the inverted left back thing and playing a false nine rather than just getting a striker, like to prove to every other coach. He's probably got a massive inferiority complex. Like, I don't even blame him. So it's like when I was at music uni, you've probably all got like different results. Like I would, because I felt like I was not as experienced as a lot of the other singers there, I would choose like way harder songs than I needed to like prove that I was like good enough to them and just make my life way too hard when I didn't need to, because, you know, so it's like he does like dumb stuff like signing Kai Havertz to make his life harder than it needs to be, perhaps to prove that he's as good as everyone else, like to himself or to them, when he just doesn't need to. Like, maybe it's something like that if I was going to like psychoanalyze this weird decision. Gooner Gathering says, I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing at 9 tomorrow. I hope not. He has the skills to play in midfield and to be a striker. Yeah, I get what you mean. Like if he's meant to be like rotating with Jesus, but it's just not really working. Fran, Kudus and Maddison are very different kind of players than Havertz. Yeah, but they're more kind of like they could have been dragged and dropped in to play the Xhaka role, because I thought the Xhaka role was working really well, at least in my like limited football knowledge. But when you say it, Schloboschlei, perfect lol. You're definitely another Bond villain with that name. Yeah, it's a good name. It's a good name. Excellent show, Fran. We all appreciate you taking the time to read comments, especially now it's after 6 p.m. UK time, lol. Oh, I'm glad you appreciate me taking the time to read the comments. I've been really trying, so thank you. I'm glad you guys appreciate it. And I hope it doesn't make the show like horrible to listen back to, but you know what? Mohammed saying, when I lose a duel, I am upset. Arteta's duel winner. Oh yeah, the German giraffe. Yes, Arteta talking rather not about scoring goals, but that he loves winning duels. To win a goal, to win a football match, you must score goals, Mikel. It doesn't matter about the duels, okay? Stop overthinking, stop sweating the small stuff. Let's just score some goals and win some matches, right? Death by 1,000 passes, love that. Thank you, trademarked by me. Right, so look, I think we've just done the Arteta voice round, lol. Thank you, thank you. You have to change the way you play. If you always play the same way, you end up like Newcastle. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a really good point. It is a good point. But like we have changed the way we play and being like more defensively focused this season. I get that. It just seems to me like it was an unnecessary switch up in that left 8 position. But you might be right as well. Like there's no right answer. That's the fun of it. So right, I've got to. Oh, I need to go soon. So Bukayo Saka, Starboy. Please keep talking about Havertz though. Like I love the Havertz chat. As much as like the situation frustrates me, it's endlessly entertaining. Anyway, so Bukayo Saka. Last season, he had an amazing season. As Arteta would say, it was exceptional. And they knew it was going to be hard to keep up those numbers because it was a one-off, which frustrates me a lot because then why didn't you get some more support for Saka and the guys up front? I love how like along this stream, I've just got more and more like annoyed by the managerial decisions, like not the players. But anyway, so he played really well last season. I was hoping, I didn't have enough like praise to give him last season. As well as his technical skill, what I really noticed like going into this season was his like development in like physical strength, physicality, being able to like bounce players off him. Rob Holding's come out recently weirdly like praising everyone in Arsenal. We love you, Rob, but weird. Saying like how strong Saka is, and that's really what's come on in his game. And this season, I was hoping that we'd see more of the same, more of these incredible goals. But it hasn't really turned out that way. And there's been a lot of discussion as to why Saka's form has not been quite as good as last season. He seems slightly, and a lot of it is to do with now, you know, last season, Arsenal were an unexpected threat. So we kind of took teams by surprise. Players like Martinelli and Bukayo Saka had a bit more space to work their magic in and would just rip teams apart a bit more. But now managers coming up against them, the first thing they do is like, okay, we need to stop Martinelli and Saka like destroying us from minute one. So there's a lot of focus on doubling up on those two players in the wing to at least like stop that threat. And we haven't been very good at adjusting to that. I mean, tactically, you'd think if they're doing that, we could maybe try bringing in a bit more threat through the middle, but Havertz hasn't been super effective and Odegaard's not really been on it so much, and Jesus hasn't been, I don't know, either way. So Martinelli and Saka have had to adjust to being seen as the good players that they are and being like protected against, you know, so like having special attention paid to them so they can't, and it to an extent it's been working. Like they've really struggled to like, but that's what it is when you're such a good player. I mean, when I was watching Jude Bellingham last night, or was it the night before? Every time he gets the ball, he's got like at least 2 players on it, sometimes 3 or 4 like around him. And like the way he's able to wiggle out of those situations, you know how Salah does it, like players like Messi do it, Vinny Jr. Like what makes them going from a great to like a really, really, really great, like verging on world-class kind of talent is your ability to deal with being double, triple, quadruple marked on sometimes. And that's what Saka has been battling with this season. And actually, he's really getting there. he's dealing with it a lot better than Martinelli, for example, and he's still been putting up really good numbers. So it hasn't been as easy for Saka this season because he has had so much more like opposition attention. Like it's hard to really succeed in a game when the opposition's first intention is like stop that player from doing what he does, like how we line up against Salah, for example. So that's been like a newish thing that he's had to deal with, and he's actually done really well. So he has performed, he's played in 25 games in all comps, so nearly every game. Again, I would say like he needs more competition, he's being overplayed. And he scored 9 goals in all comps. He's our top goal scorer. I don't have the assists here, but he's got nearly as many assists. So he's done really well given the circumstances. So yeah, let me see what you guys have to say. I think I have given him a meh, okay, which is maybe a bit harsh. But basically he's not hugely over excelled, but he's not dropped off either, I don't really think. So how have you guys thought Saka has like performed this season? So you guys are talking about worse signings than Havertz. I like it. Saka 8 out of 10, legend in the making, but too much expected of him by Arteta, and he was running on empty. Yeah, this huge, like the fact that there's no like right wing backup, maybe apart from Jesus or Trossard. Like we don't have another. Well, Nelson actually, but Nelson never gets any rotation. And again, I go back to this huge like rotation sticking point that I have with Arteta. It's so annoying. Saka 6 out of 10. Can be a great player, but this season he hasn't hit the heights we know he can get to. Yeah, I agree with that. Having said that, though, despite not playing well, he's still getting the numbers, which is huge. I'm going to go 7 for Saka, looking for him to get back to last year's numbers. Yeah. If we're halfway through the season there, and he's got 7 Premier League goals. So if he keeps on going like he does, then it's 14, which is kind of similar to where he was last season, I think. But it would be really nice to see him get to like, I know he's got the potential to get to like the Mo Salah levels of like 20 games or something, but it seems like he's getting too predictable. I'd love to see him come in central sometimes, but it's always just go right down the wing and then kind of try and cut in and like cross the ball. Like I'd like to see him make more like marauding runs, like be a bit more confident, try and beat his man, run into the centre, like interchange with Odegaard. Like it was nice to see Vinny Jr. like he switched. There was a lot more fluidity last season. So Vinny Jr., when he was playing for Real Madrid the other night, was like on the wrong wing at points, like completely swapping around. And what was so great about last season, which we really haven't seen this season, I was going on about it all of last season, the front 5, which was Xhaka, Odegaard, Martinelli, Jesus and Saka, were so flexible. They were completely liquid, like interweaving. Everyone was kind of all over the place. You had no idea like where the threat was coming from, and they were a nightmare to mark. And that was led by Jesus, like running around all over the place. And this year, it's been so much more like they're stuck in their channels. So Martinelli stays out there, Saka stays out there, Odegaard's on this side of the centre, Havertz on this side of the centre, and Jesus is here. Like Jesus is the only one kind of like really moving around like loads and loads. So it's all just much more rigid, and I hate it. But yeah, we'll talk about Jesus next. I'll just see what you guys are saying. Saka. Saka is a contributing machine, but once again, the finishing isn't good enough. Yeah, the finishing is particularly bad, like recently. He's had instructions to fall down if he's pressured, but it's over the top. They're all at it. Yeah, like they're trying to get good at the dark arts, but they look like if you give a toddler a crayon and tell them to paint the Mona Lisa, you know, it's clumsy. Saka above average. He's been disappointing all season, especially with his goals and assists. Yeah, I really wanted to see him motor on and get like over 20 goals, you know. So as a fan base, please stop calling him Star Boy. 6 out of 10. All right, Eros has said it, guys. We've got to stop. Static sounds like a fun debate. Gooners Gathering. I don't deny there are a lot of this is about the past players, right? I've got to skip that, sorry. Keep hitting the like button and subscribe. Thank you, Static. Yes, please keep doing that. Aim is 40 likes, so I don't know if we're there already. That would be great. Oh, and subscribe, please. Road to 800 and then 1K. Woo! Anyway, Rancid Pumpkin saying, quick reminder, we're 5 points behind league leader Liverpool. We don't have an awful season. There are 2 ways you can read that, though. It would be like, oh my God, we're 5 points behind Liverpool, which is kind of the way I read it. Or it's like your cup half full thing, you know, or half empty. Or there's like, we're only 5 points behind. it really depends on like what angle you're coming at that sentence with. I'm coming at it from like, oh, there's 5 points. So you're more of a cup half full guy, and I appreciate that from you. I wish I was more of the same. Right. Positivity rancid. Gooner Gathering said, I mentioned yesterday I'd like to see Saka and Martinelli switch from time to time. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Gooner Gathering, remember to do that. Gooner Gathering, it's quite amazing some of the crap we've bought over the years. Jesus, poor, sorry, you're a striker, score goals. Yeah. Jesus sadly could be getting to the party stage, as we may never see the best of him for long enough. Cameroon losing 2-0. Oh no. Oh, it's your watch along, I think. Is it your watch along? Guys, remember to go and check in on Kenny Ken's watch along. No, Kenny Fan TV, not Kenny Ken, sorry. 42 likes. Woo! Yes! Well done, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Again, I still find it so annoying that likes are part of the YouTube algorithm. Like, it's not Facebook. You don't go through and like posts, but we've had to adapt our behavior for the algorithm gods. But I thank you so much. Pork Chop is in the building. Big up Kenny Ken TV. No, it's not Kenny Ken. I wish. I love Mr. Pork Chop. But no, Kenny Ken is so nice. So nice. I met him at the Emirates when I went to the North London Derby. I didn't think he'd have any idea who it was. And I just like walked up to him and I was like, Kenny Ken, hello. And he was like, ah. And just like, even though I'm just like, yeah, he's so nice. Sorry, I'm sorry for the confusion, guys. I'm sorry for the confusion. It's not Kenny Ken. It's even better. It's Kenny Fan TV. So remember to subscribe to Kenny Fan TV. Right, let's talk about Jesus. So last season, we know he does really good link-up play, but I wanted to see a bit of improvement coming into this season in terms of goal numbers. And that also means him staying fitter for a bit longer. Unfortunately, neither of those things have happened. So in terms of his injury at the moment, on January the 7th, so a couple of weeks ago, Arteta said he's progressing well. We have another training session tomorrow, blah, 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 blah. I think more recently, so it was a knee injury. We thought it would be really bad, but more recently Arteta said that it's kind of better than we thought and that he might be back this weekend. So it's not too bad, but he's only played, what have we got? Jesus. He's only played 15 games compared to the likes of Saka and those guys. So he's been out for like 10, 12 games already. And instead of getting less injuries and scoring more goals, he's been injured again and scored even less goals. So his weak point last season, and since we've had him, is that his goal scoring is not quite good enough. And this season, he even said that and then proceeded to score even less goals. So for me, I'm pretty sure I put him as underwhelming. Yes. If anyone else disagrees, then let me know. But yeah, he scored even less goals and been just as injured. So yeah, not happy for me. Get off the floor. Gooner Gathering says Jesus 6. Good displays interrupted by a long layoff. Yeah. 5 out of 10. More of a support striker than a regular number 9. Yeah, I'd love to see him play like the left 8, for example, for an actual striker, which we need to get in January, but which we won't, which will be a whole other meltdown on deadline day. Give movie night a miss and it'll double. Lol. No. Oh, I wish. I have a dedication to streaming, but I also have a dedication to my friends. So, I meant to collect her in 1 minute. Right. Jesus 7 out of 10. Finishing is disappointing, but I can't complain about the rest. Yeah. Yeah, he is always injured. Sell this bum. No, I know you're being sarcastic there, but he is really injured all the time. My eyes are bad. Carry on, Kenny. My apologies. Not heard. Right. So yeah. It'll be nice to see him support like a striker who can actually score some goals, or contrarily, like remember how to score goals himself. I don't like his mindset that scoring goals is not his strong point. So I used to have this mindset that like physics was just my worst subject. Like I hated the teacher. And I consciously said to myself, I'm going to change this narrative in my head. I'm going to say to myself, this was only GCSE, so it was like back in the day, but I'm going to say to myself, like, I love physics. I'm great at physics. And I consciously said that to myself, like every night. I'm great at physics. I'm really good at physics. And like, it was honestly a miracle the way it changed, like how I felt about physics. And like, I ended up like just understanding everything so much quicker. So the way I'm saying is that if he actually like worked with a psychologist or something, or just said to himself, like, the way that you can change how good you are at something by just believing, like forcing yourself to say, like, I'm good at this thing, I'm good at this thing, I'm good at this thing. It doesn't work with everything, but with some stuff like scoring goals or I don't know, like tackling, dribbling, like sports stuff, it really works because it's so much of a confidence thing, like mind over matter. So if that was such a nerd example, I'm sorry. But if Jesus like decided to say to himself, like, my strong point is scoring goals, I'm an elite goal scorer, saying that to himself again and again and again, maybe while he's on the rowing machine, while he's running like on the treadmill, just say to yourself, like, I'm an elite goal scorer, I'm an elite goal scorer, I'm an elite goal scorer. It's amazing how changing your belief in your head like affects like the subconscious, like instant intuitive decisions that you make on the pitch, you know. So for me, him saying like, oh, scoring goals is not my strong point, like belies a stronger issue with his mindset, and he needs to reverse that immediately. So oh no, Phil says, you're meant to cheer us up with your gorgeousness and positivity, Fran, but have left me thinking Arteta out. Haha, but thanks for staying in so long. No, I'm not Arteta out. Like, I refuse to say that I'm Arteta out. I'm in serious Arteta doubt, but I'm not Arteta out. So yeah, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Although it's hard, like, not to agree with a lot of stuff that a lot of my comments say, because they are very Arteta out, but I've got to check myself. I'm not there. So Martinelli, guys, let's see what you're saying. So Fran, good old school and college, what we went through. I hated it. I'm sorry, but title winner at City. Oh, that's Jesus. Martinelli below average. 2 out of 10. Martinelli is having an off season. He doesn't contribute enough. He plays like bloody Jorginho. Jorginho was before I was watching football, I'm afraid. But it can't be a good thing. Posh Bertie saying, not sure if that works, Fran. Shut up. I keep on saying I'm slim and no results happen. Yeah, that doesn't quite work in all the stuff. It's like in like random like skill-based things that you're not confident in. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Very clever. Fran is a poet now. No. Okay, Posh, workout stream coming up on Twitch. Okay, you guys are going off topic. Come on. It's just been the tone of the pod because the comments, obvious always. Oh, thank you. Posh is the Slim Shady, right? Right, let's get through this. Right, so running on empty, he's underperforming. I won't go into too much detail. I think he's struggling with the same issues as Saka because he's now like seen as a really good player, so he's getting double, triple marked up on, and running on empty, could use like someone who can actually do the same thing as him. For me, not very good this season. No, underwhelming. Be it the system, be it not having Xhaka next to him. He's not been as good as he was last season. I'd probably say even worse. But again, he's not had the space of last season. So hopefully he can pick it up in the second half of the season. Right, we've got, oh my gosh, why we've got so many more players. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3 more players. Let's go. Then I've got to go. So Eddie, what can I say about Eddie? I think it says all of it when he's brought on towards the end of the game and like your gut reaction to that. For me, it's always like, oh, well, that's going to change things, isn't it? Whereas if he was like proper quality, like, so players like Trossard come on and think like, oh, this is really good. That's a really good sub. Like, he can do something here. I think with Eddie, like, I just don't get that feeling. And it's kind of, I know what to expect. Like, he's going to miss a couple of chances. He's just not like that next level at the moment. Like, maybe he can be, but he's not right now. I hate to think, like, I know Arteta's like in love with like what Eddie and Nketiah can be. It's like if you're in the beginning, like you're like maybe a few months into a relationship and you're in love with like the idea of like what you guys could be as a couple. But I remember I was told this. I was like, Fran, actually look at it right now, and like this relationship sucks. And I was like, oh yeah. So if you actually look at what Eddie's doing right now, Arteta, like, it sucks. You're obsessed with what you think Eddie could be, not what he actually is right now. And what he actually is right now sucks. And is nowhere near good enough. Is not like a clinical goal scoring striker. Plus, he doesn't have the link up play of Jesus. So he's like Jesus, but without the link up play and with as many goals. I really don't rate him. Sorry, Gooner Gathering, like argue your case, but I just like, he's got so many chances and I'm just not seeing the numbers. However, I will say with this, I would love it more than anything if Eddie becomes a goal scoring machine in the second half of the season, because God knows we need it. And in these last few games where we've had so many chances, we've been saying like, oh, a goal scoring machine would come in and score so many of these. So if Eddie is this goal scoring machine that he's made out to be, why isn't he coming in and finishing all these chances? Or is he part of the problem as well? I don't know. Gooner Gathering loves Eddie. I don't get it, but I'd love him to prove me wrong, you know? So Martinelli's way worse than Saka. Saka contributes at least. Eddie, no thanks, goodbye. I can't give out my rating for Eddie Nketiah as he might get fired for Gooner Gathering. Yeah, you signed a non-disclosure agreement. Is that what it would be? I don't know. Martinelli has the speed and dribbling, but this guy doesn't have enough football IQ. That's a really good point, Mohammed. Really good point. It seems like he's just kind of a robot and doesn't actually stop and look up and think. So Static said NA. That's my score for Eddie. Yeah, no comment. If I speak, I'm in big trouble. No comment. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Eros used the NA card. The NA card is the one. Nketiah is the same level as Shamak. Absolutely rubbish. 1 out of 10. I love that, Jez. Eddie is the new Paul Dickov. One for the old uns. Will be an okay pro, but not for us. Yeah, I don't know Paul Dickov. You know I wouldn't know that, but maybe someone else does. 100% Static. Wish he'd just go already. Living my gimmick. Eddie could start an argument in his empty room. Yeah, honestly, it's not it. So yeah, as you might have guessed, Eddie underwhelming. Next, Trossard. So Trossard for me is like in a similar boat to ESR. I really wanted him to motor, actually similar in terms of I think he's been unfairly treated and has not been given the chance to like play himself into form and really prove it. He's gotten a few chances. He's had a few poorer games than last season, but I think he's been unfairly left out of the squad. I think there was a quote he said last year where he didn't come to Arsenal to be like to play as a backup. I think he's a player that really thrives being an integral member of a first team side, like he was at Brighton. But he's like a backup, kind of all over the place, like a drag and drop player. He's being expected to perform up front and then play in left 8, then play out wide. He's not being played in one solid position for any run of games. How is he supposed to find any form? I think it's so disrespectful to him, and he should be played in one position for a few games. Let him play himself into form, and you will get the return from him because he's so good. I'd probably be putting in a transfer request if I was him, because he's really not being given a fair shot of it this season. So I've rated him as underwhelming, to be fair, because when he has had these starts, he's really not performed. But I don't know, like that's probably a bit harsh because, yeah, I don't think he's being fairly treated. Like he's not getting the minutes. I think he needs consistent starts to play himself into form. And again, I'm comparing it to players like Havertz and Eddie who are getting all these minutes, but someone like Trossard isn't. It's just blatant favoritism for me, and it just seems really unfair. But having said that, he hasn't played great when he has been given the chances, so it's a tough one. You're so young, Fran. Enjoy. It goes so quick. Oh, don't. The comedy thing is Eddie wearing number 14 shirt. Don't get me started on the number 14 thing. Franny Jeffers is definitely the triple threat with Nketiah and Shamak. I wouldn't trust them to collect my bins and empty them, lol. Yeah, I love Trossard, but he's just not been great. Eros facts. Nketiah must go immediately. Trossy was epic last season, deserved to be a big part of the team, and is being badly managed this season. Such a talent. Completely agree with you there, Phil. By the way, if you guys are still here, you've been here for like 3 hours. I actually love you. Thank you so much. Trossard moved around like Havertz 5. Yeah, he has looked like hungover at points this season, like or on some kind of substance. He's not been himself. A bit too much on and off. I'd like to see him more. That is the main thing. Like we would all like to see him more because we know what he can give. So yeah, 6 out of 10 needs more game time. I'd start him up front. That's what I would do. So if you watched my preview, I want Trossard to start up front. He's the Premier League player we needed, but Arteta is mismanaging him. Yeah. I'm happy with Mudryk instead of Trossard now. Wasn't last season. That says it all. He'd rather have Mudryk than Trossard. No. It was hit the end for you, Fran. Oh, thank you. We're nearly there. So last but not least, it's Nelson. So again, I just think, yeah, it's really unfair, very unfair. But he's not, like, when he comes on, he does seem to do really well. He's exciting, he's explosive. I think he adds a much needed burst of energy sometimes when we are playing death by 1,000 passes. He actually runs with the ball and takes on his man. So I really love that. But again, he's just in this category of players like Trossard, ESR, Nelson, Kiwior, who else? Maybe Fabio Vieira, that are like not quite seen as first team standard by Arteta and then are completely just left out of the picture most of the time. So I feel like they're not getting a fair chance to play themselves into form like some other players are, because they're kind of being excluded. But having said that, we have seen a few cameo appearances from Nelson, but I don't think he's getting enough minutes. So again, it's an NA for me. So everyone's using Static's phrase of NA. And Eros, you're saying Trossard 4 out of 10 being the most disappointing. Yeah, for real, I think. But it's so hard for him being asked to play here, then here, then here, then here. I don't know. Reiss Nelson, poor, underwhelming. NA, he doesn't play enough. Wait, what position does that kitten play? You mean the dog? Nelson, NA, not seen, no game time. Could be a talent, but how will we know if we don't play him? Nelson, average, 5 out of 10. Usually does quite well, but hardly gets any game time. Actually, everyone is copying me. I changed my mind. NA. Okay, let's all agree NA for Nelson. He doesn't get enough game time. Quite a few of these players don't get enough game time. And yeah, that's me. So I've really enjoyed this stream. You guys know I love player ratings. What can I say? I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing these player ratings with me. I would love to stay and just talk about the state of our squad, what I want to see this next half of the season. But I will have to stop now and join you guys again tomorrow because I'm late to go and pick up my friend. So instead of Arteta out, it's Fran out. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember to hit a like button on your way out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. What movie are we watching? We're going to go watch like a probably like ridiculous horror film and then just like, yeah, a horror film. We love, like me and my friend, like most weeks, and my sister, we have like stupid horror film nights where we just like eat snacks and stuff. So yeah, I'm really late. So guys, you guys have been so amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys have been here so long as well, right? No, it's not Arteta out, it's Fran out. Okay, so what a great stream indeed. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I've loved it. I've really loved it. It's been, I've been going for like 3 hours, so I have really loved it. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after the match. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Bye.